Get the V's up or the W's or however you want to look at it. It is a Monday and the Eagles won. Welcome into Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, along with my men, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks. I'm Rob Ellis, your three amigos, your 3 hours of power coming your way as we do each and every Monday through Friday. Fellas, week one of the NFL, not quite complete. Still one more game. But we had an amazing week, and the Eagles get the win yesterday. How we feeling? How we feeling, D-Gun?
The thing I enjoy most about the first week of the season, and we talked about this last week as we projected 4 or 5 games we thought could have a wow factor to them. And we had that and then some across the NFL the first week, the shockers. A lot of people lost a lot of money on these games over the weekend. I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
I was at the Ocean Casino doing our pre and post game show for JAKIB Sports.
Congrats.
Yeah, man. And we were in that new Galleria that we were all there at July 1st when we hosted a show there to kick off.
That looked great, by the way.
Let me tell you something. Now, imagine the traffic we had back in July then. Imagine it 3 times more because you got 23 monitors up, big screen monitors. Every game is on. You have people there from all over. You have people from North Jersey, New York, Philadelphia. They're watching all the games. So during our shows, all you hear is the oohs and the ahs and the ohs. It was a great atmosphere to watch football. And I'm thinking, I had to train myself because you hear ooh and ah. And while I'm talking to Mike Missinelli and Seth, at some points, I wanted to quickly turn around.
You can't react. You can't react. Stay dialed in. I know.
I'm like, I had to retrain myself. Yep. I'm like, I'm missing all this stuff.
It's one of the biggest challenges of doing a remote is just staying locked in. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. But, yeah.
For sure.
Great first Sunday in the NFL.
Yes, it was. All right, Barrett, I got to start with you, man. The Eagles win 38-35 over the Lions, and it's been an interesting reaction Sunday after the game and spilling over into Monday from the fan base. And by the way, what's up, everybody in the chat room? We see you. Appreciate you. See everybody, everybody streaming, everybody listening. Thanks for hanging with us. And we are going to blow this game out of the water as well as everything in week one. But Barrett, so let's start with that, man. The reaction tempered, I would say. I would say mixed is the way that people are reacting to that win on Sunday.
It's not all doom and gloom. Stay away from the bridges. The defense is not as bad as what you saw today. It wasn't as good as the times when they made things happen either. It's funny, I hear people talking about, the game and the way it's being called. It wouldn't have been close as it was if a missed tackle here, run through a guy instead of just, getting to a guy and trying to bounce off of him. There were a lot of times they were there to make the play. They just didn't tackle. And, that's the biggest thing about going into the season without having any game type experience. And that's you gotta basically say that was the big problem. They just didn't have enough reps to go through and tackle right. They just didn't do the little things that you do when you're used to playing game speeds and game speed situations. That's the big thing. I mean, even as far as the score being that close, a little thing like Slay picking off that pass, which led then to a touchdown on that drive. I mean, if he makes that play, we're not even talking about that. We're talking about them winning by 10 points. I know the bettors are pissed off about that, but we're talking about a 10-point swing. At least a 7-point swing. If he turns around, he just makes that interception. I mean, we might even go in and score with that. How high we were. So am I just pissed off again right now? Do I want to? I'm looking at the comments. I want his helmet to stake. No, I'm not that pissed off with him. I mean, he could have been a little more aggressive, but at times he was very aggressive, but I just didn't see it the way everybody else did. I mean, even as far as the beginning of the game, sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you. The Eagles defense was very aggressive to start out. The defensive line was very aggressive to start out, very aggressive. In fact, they used that aggressive nature against them. They ran trap, good old trap play, the simplest play in the NFL. You did it in Pop Warner days. They allowed Fletcher Cox and Hargrave to get up the field. backside guard traps that defensive end. The defensive tackle. They run right in behind him. That's using your aggressive nature against you. You can't tell the defensive line, "Oh, stop being aggressive." No, you don't tell them that. You just have your linebackers go up and make a play, and the linebackers didn't go up and make a play. But, I mean, it was a great coaching job by the offensive coordinator, putting them in a position for some success at the beginning of the game. Using, Ben Johnson used the aggressive nature of those guys front to have some big plays against them. So, look, to me, it's not all fire and brimstone about the defense. I'm good with it.
You were good with the defense. I was so far from good with the defense.
Well, I wasn't good with them. I'm saying that I understand why everything that happened.
It did, but where were the adjustments? And where was that highly priced defensive line? Where were they? They got one sack in the game. Half a sack by Fletcher Cox.
And
it
wasn't a sack either. It wasn't a sack.
Excuse me. They had an accidental sack.
Yeah.
That shouldn't even count as a sack. The quarterback had there was a bad snap from the center. Quarterback drops the ball. Fletcher Cox pounces on. Where was Fletcher Cox all day?
Where was Fletcher Cox? Where was everybody? I know Bradbury had a pick six, but where were a lot of guys yesterday?
If Bradbury doesn't have the pick six, are we sitting here talking about a 35-31 Detroit win?
I'll tell you, they escaped that game. That game was an escape. If that was Barrett. If that was a boxing match and they had another round, they probably lose.
No, if my aunt had a
you just gave me the if Slay picked that off, then it's not the same kind of game. That kind of stuff happens all the time.
I'm telling you something. I'm telling you something right now. I know Barrett's being kind for a reason, and I get it, and I don't want to go overboard with this. Jonathan Gannon's four-man rush cannot continue like that. You cannot continue with the four-man rush.
All right, yes, you said that. Now, what did he do during the game to combat that?
Okay, here's what he did. After Detroit walked down the field and punched him in the mouth first and put 7 on the board, all of a sudden the next 3 series,
3 and out,
Jonathan Gannon dialed up more pressure on Goff because there's okay, but unlike Aaron Glenn, who kept, and I was shocked by what Aaron Glenn did. Aaron Glenn told you he was coming, and he kept coming. The reason Detroit was in that game is because the pressure kept coming on Hurts, forcing him to make – how many times did we say Hurts, which was smart on Hurts' part, by the way, smart, threw the ball out of bounds so he didn't take a sack and cost him yards.
I agree.
Okay? 3 series in a row, Gannon dials up some pressure, forced Goff to make decisions, one of which was the great deflection by Kazir White. Bradbury picks it, takes it to the house. All of a sudden, in the second half, he goes to that doggone 4-man rush. They get no pressure on Goff. That man standing back there tapping the ball left and right. They let them back in that game. When it was 31-14, 38-28, 38-21, should have been lights out. I'm sitting there thinking, it's lights out, game over.
I thought they were going to pull away from him. I
thought
it was like last year.
He lets them back in the game, and all of a sudden, Goff started finding open receivers. And that dime he dropped over the shoulder for the touchdown to DJ Chark over Slay, beautiful throw.
Yep.
You got too much money on that defensive line for nobody to put more consistent pressure.
And that I will say, I wholeheartedly believe that. And I understand why Gannon allowed those guys up front, because they're supposed to be doing their job. They're supposed to be getting it. We're talking about $14 million here, $11 million right here. Another $12 million right.
Yes,
those guys are getting paid top dollar.
Yes,
they should have been rushing the passer, and I understand why Gannon didn't blitz during those times, because those guys up front should have made some more thing happen.
But when it didn't work, you got to adjust, B.
Yeah,
you got to
adjust. He did. That's what I'm saying. He did.
No. Not in the second half. Not in the second half. He didn't bring enough pressure in the second half. Nobody was touching that man. That man's jersey was clean the whole second half, B.
They spread him out. They spread him out.
You know what? Eagles spread out Detroit's defense. They're sending the linebacker. I'm sitting there watching the safeties creep up, and I'm going, he's doing blitz. Sure enough, how many times did Detroit have a safety or corner coming off the edge to put pressure on Hurts?
Jalen Hurts, you're right.
Now, what Hurts did, Hurts played the game he had to play.
Yep.
People said, and I said this on our post-game show, I don't want to see my quarterback running the ball 17 times.
Hell no.
He had to run, though.
I agree.
He hurt him. And so what happens? Here's why I don't want my quarterback running 17 times. Because every time he escaped that blitz, you're frustrating a defense more and more. To the point, what happens? Tracy Walker lowers a shoulder right in his face.
That wasn't the first one either, by the way.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, now
that was ridiculous. And I'm not. The refs didn't make this a close game. I'm not blaming that, but there were a lot of on the ground hits on him when he slid feet first. When you slide feet first as a quarterback, you can't be touched like that. If you're diving head first, you're a running back. That happened several times before that play.
Yeah,
so that's my issue. Look, guys.
They were jumping on him.
If that's a statue kind of quarterback, he sacked 4 or 5 times yesterday.
Absolutely.
The Eagles' offensive line, and I don't mean in the run game because it did a nice job in the run game.
Yes,
and I'll give all kinds of props to Miles Sanders in a little bit. But as far as the passing game goes, I thought the offensive line came up real small. The best offensive line in football came up really small. And I thought the defensive line, and I'm with Barrett in this sense. I'm not putting all this on Gannon. And I know I'll take heat on the Gannon.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not putting it all on Gannon, but I'm
your
pointing out
players
a
need to
glaring
make
weakness.
Plays, man.
Yes.
And where are Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave,
That's a lot of money. Brandon Graham. That's a lot of money.
Where are those guys at, man? Where are your linebackers? Where are those guys? That kid 35 spot against Detroit. And I know Detroit's better. And believe me, nobody respects Detroit more than I do. I know how many close games they played. They're not this good. This shouldn't have been a game. This should not have been a game.
Man, you know what? When you got a wounded animal down, you got to put your foot on his throat, man.
Absolutely.
Anytime you give a weaker opponent an inkling of a sense that we could win this game, 50% of the time they'll jump up and bite you in your backside. You let Detroit think they could win this game. D-Gun,
you said it. You said it at the beginning. You said it last week. That's how first weeks go.
Absolutely.
So you never know. There's surprises everywhere. You never know how things will go. So that's how first weeks go. So the reason why I'm saying this is actually the second preseason game for the Eagles.
Absolutely. Yes.
They didn't go out there and play basic fundamental football.
No, they didn't. Tackling was horrible.
All that stuff comes with and this is another thing with this team is not in football shape right now.
Yeah, they were gassed in the fourth quarter. You could see the
D line. This team, and the reason why they're not in football shape because the only way you can get in football shape is by playing football. You can run around, do as many drills as you want to run. You can do all that. But if you're not playing football, you're not getting in football shape. Mm-hmm. So this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. That's why it's not doom and gloom for me because I understand that they will see the inefficiencies that they have on today when they're watching film today. And they're going to work on those things like tackling. They're going to work on things like making sure the offensive line runs down the field and finishes plays. They weren't picking anybody up. Imagine how many times running backs and wide receiver got up without anybody picking them up. Those are things that are unacceptable to me as an offensive line. They didn't do that a lot of times. I saw a lot of watching the play. When have we seen stoutless lines do that?
Yeah.
Why? Because they're not in shape right now. Not saying that they're out of shape, but they're not in this football shape that you need to be in to be the caliber team we're thinking they could be.
Look, we all thought they would win games with their trenches, with the offensive line and the defense.
Absolutely.
And the offensive line wasn't complete enough, and the defensive line wasn't good enough, period. Yes. And look, the bottom line in this league is win. Stack wins up, and they stacked the win up. They got out of there. To their credit, they were able to milk the clock in large part with that last drive, with the conversion by Hurts and a great run by Sanders. So they did what they had to do, and they escaped. Look, a lot of teams lost yesterday that were supposed to win, okay, and they did. The Eagles won the game. But there are a lot. I'll tell you what, they play like that Monday night against Minnesota, they lose. Straight up lose.
Luckily, they have an extra day to get ready for this game. Jalen Hurts on that last QB sneak to steal the game. I was sitting there going, my goodness, please don't give Detroit one of those home calls because initially it looked like he didn't get the first down. And then they gave it to him.
It should have been a flag anyways because, I mean, the defensive line was so far off sides. It was ridiculous.
Yes.
They were helmet to helmet.
That's one of those phantom home calls, B. That's one of those phantom home calls.
Call that, man.
But if you remember, also I said last week, if you're going to go into a first game of a season and be a flawed team, Detroit was the perfect opponent for that to happen against.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
And that's They escaped. They had so many flaws, and they escaped with the win. I don't care what the score was.
They did not escape with the win. They beat them, and they would have beaten them, man. There's no way they could stop that offense when they didn't want to. It wasn't an escape. They beat the Detroit Lions.
Okay, let me put it like this. All right, let's say this. All right, let me. Okay, I agree. They beat Detroit. Yeah. Detroit could be. If Jalen Hurts didn't pick up that first down, you'd have been sitting there nervous, right? Because of the way Detroit was moving the ball in the second half, right? Jalen Hurts got the first down, huh?
They couldn't stop us either.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't just beat them. They didn't just beat Detroit.
Right.
Did you think Detroit was good enough to score 35 points on that defense?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, they had drives of guys 78, 75, and 72 yards, touchdown drives in the second half.
Yes.
The defense did not show up. The offensive line was a weird day. I thought the run blocking was good and the pass blocking was bad.
Look.
And Hurts Houdiniac saved their asses in it.
So you guys thought that there was a time during this game that they were going to lose. And no point during this game that I think.
Barrett, I will tell you, I was legitimately nervous in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
I was.
Nervous is different from thinking they're going to lose the game.
When it was
no point did I
38-35,
think they were going to lose the game. No, they weren't going to lose this game. The superior team would eventually go out and beat the weaker of the teams, and they beat a weak team. Now, there's a lot of flaws that they have. They have a lot of flaws that they have to work on.
Keep in mind, too,
it's only one game. It's a one game.
Exactly.
And I'm just trying to throw. Like sprinkle in some perspective too on both sides of this. From a Detroit standpoint, I don't want to say it was like their Super Bowl, but it was damn close.
It was, yes.
Okay, so you got smoked by this team last year. That's all your coach told you about the entire offseason. You got them first, right?
Yes.
Hard Knocks, we all know. My God, if I have to hear Hard Knocks one more time, but Hard Knocks on top of it.
Yes.
Your crowd. We kept saying just be able to withstand the storm, right? When they're to come out swinging, they came out swinging on the first drive. What I was really impressed with, the Eagles then said, all right, we took it. Boom, here we come. And they came back and smoked them. What I didn't like, Barrett, in particular, was I felt like they really took their foot off the gas pedal.
Yes.
And that, to me, that's troublesome.
Well, let me tell them that, look, and I'm going to tell the stream too. I'm not trying to sit back and be like, oh, this team is. I'm not trying to give them any excuses. What I am saying is the best team won the fucking game. They won the game.
Yes, they did win the game. I'm saying
this. At no point did I think that they were going to lose the game either. Now, yes, there was some coaching things. If you're going to get on anything, there's some coaches things that they need to clean up. There's some conditioning things they need to do as a team. They need to get conditioned to play an entire football game. They weren't in condition to play an entire football game.
We all knew that going in. We knew that.
I know, exactly. But number three, at no point did I think that their athletes were better than ours and they were going to take advantage of that. No.
I am not saying that. I'm not saying that.
They still beat this team. They still beat the Detroit Lions.
They won the game. I'm not going to say they beat Detroit down. They let an inferior opponent, put up 35 points on them.
Yes.
I'm not going to say. And your offense only put up 31 on their defense. Okay.
Right.
Now, luckily, you had a defense that added another 7. So I'm not going to say it was a beatdown.
I'm not going to say it was lucky either. I'm not going to say it was lucky.
I didn't say it was luck. I'm not saying it was luck.
It wasn't lucky. But I do feel like there was a little bit of the bell rang and you got out of it. Now, to their credit, they ended it. I mean, they basically said, you're not getting the ball back.
You're not getting the ball back.
And that's what good teams do.
Yes.
Good teams instill their will and say, we're milking this bad boy. And guys came up clutch. Jalen came up clutch in that last drive. Miles Sanders, who we will get to, deserves a lot of props. I thought the guy had an excellent day.
Yep.
Miles Sanders.
I agree.
Who took a lot of heat.
Hurts had an excellent day also.
Who did?
Hurts had an excellent day.
Hurts did too. Yeah, no,
Hurts
absolutely. I think here's the thing with Hurts. This is going to sound like a backhanded compliment. It's not. I come away from the game with Jalen saying, my God, he's unbelievable with his legs. And he made some plays with his arm too. Don't get me wrong, but there were still a few things where I'm saying, if you want this team to take the next level, you got to get better at these things. Now, it's early. I'm not saying this is what it's going to look like for 17 games. There are things I just need to see from him. That's all. I'm not.
That's all.
This is not a game where I'm killing Jalen Hurts because he saved the Eagles bacon. Dude, let me put it this way. Flip it around. If that's Goff playing quarterback for the Eagles, he's in traction right now.
Absolutely.
He didn't get the time. So I don't know what happened to the offensive line in terms of pass blocking. I don't know what was going on. They couldn't handle Detroit. I know Detroit's throwing the house at them, but you got to be better than that.
Well, you don't throwing the house at them. They've all got 5 guys to block, 7 defenders coming.
Yes.
You know
and he stepped up and he burned them every time.
Yes. So
he did. So that's what I'm saying. It's a one-game sample, but I'm not going to put this in the category of a beatdown. This was not a beatdown. This game was closer than it should have been.
Way closer than it should have been.
That's my only point.
There were so many points left on the field, even from an offensive standpoint and a defensive standpoint, that it was ridiculous. Yes, they should have scored more points. They only scored 31 points. But the timing in which they scored those points were must-haves, and they got the job done.
One last thing just on the Hurts thing. And this is not a Jalen Hurts problem because he had to do this, okay? But he keeps rushing that many times. It's going to be Gardner Minshew's show. I don't want it to be Gardner Minshew's show.
That's why I said I don't want my quarterback running the ball 17 times. But he played the game he had to play because Detroit's pass rush was relentless. He stepped up and he made them pay. And because of that, the frustration grew on Detroit's side to the point Tracy Walker takes that unnecessary roughness penalty. Things get a little physical afterwards. I thought he was going straight to concussion protocol. Seriously.
I did too. He took a couple of those where I'm like, oh.
And how many times did he slide and give up his body? You got dudes pouncing on him.
He is a tough cat, okay?
Yes,
he's
a tough dude.
But trust me, this keeps up for 17 games. I don't care how tough you are. It's going to end you. And I just worry. And, I always liken him to, I say this all the time. I'll give you the basketball analogy that I always give with Jalen Hurts. He's a scorer. He's not a shooter. Like, he's going to do what it takes to get you points. He's going to do whatever it takes, whether it's a drive, a jumper, an N1. He's that guy. But I just, that style is hard to maintain with those big dudes that are trying to take your head off.
I'm going to put it like this also. Jalen Hurts, some of the pass, like the slant pass he threw to Brown between two defenders where the linebacker dropped off, and the cornerback they kind of tried to bracket coverage him, and he threaded the needle in between them, and it allowed Brown. And Brown then gets down to like the 2-yard line on that play, threaded the needle on that play.
Absolutely,
he dropped the dime. He dropped the dime to Brown on the other side
on the side of floating. Yes, he did.
Yep.
You look at Smitty. Smitty drops. He legitimately dropped.
Yep.
He dropped 2 passes.
He dropped 2. Yeah.
He dropped 2 passes thrown to him. The tight end, number 83, was named
Tungai. Yeah.
He dropped a pass.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, he was doing whatever he could to win this game. And like I said before, he's not going to blow you up in the stats. No. I mean, this game, if he 240 yards passing, 240 yards, you multiply that by 17, he's got over 4,000 yards passing. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about that, what is he doing to it? But the most important stat line that he's going to give this team is the W.
Yeah.
It's
ability to help them win games. Absolutely.
No.
We knew that, and we knew that going into the season. We broke it down last week. We said if he averaged, if he averaged 235, 240 yards passing a game, that's great.
Yes,
that's great. And he's not turning the ball over. That's great. If he's helping his team win, that's great. But we're talking about a 1-game sample that we saw. There's areas that need improvement. Obviously,
absolutely,
we knew that.
Absolutely, I'm not going to give everybody the doom. I'm not going to give everybody the doom and gloom and talk about. This team is still great. This team is still good. There are a lot of issues, and there's going to be a lot of film coverage and a lot of cussing and fussing in the meeting room when they watch this film. There's a whole bunch of shoulda, coulda, and woulda, and how many points they left out there sitting for this team, not just on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball also.
Agreed. And here's what I will tell you defensively. And as I tell you guys, I'm running the GAN wagon right now. It's in the shop. The GAN wagon is getting some work done. Okay, we had to stop off, get some maintenance done, and we'll see if that bad boy's going to be up and running. But I still don't know. I come away from this game like I wish I felt better about Gannon and the way he called the game. And I also know that you're paying Fletcher Cox $14 million. You're playing Javon Hargrave a lot of money. I wanted to see more of Jordan Davis, by the way. He played 22 snaps, 32% of the plays. Now, that may kind of be what it looks like, but I thought he was effective when he was in there against the run, and they couldn't stop the freaking run. So why wasn't he in more? Why wasn't there more odd man fronts? I need to see more out of everybody.
Yes.
Kaiser White, I need to see more from everybody than I saw in that game. Slay and Bradbury, I can't really kill necessarily, but there are a lot of players on that defense that didn't come to play as far as I'm concerned.
You cannot have those cornerbacks every game playing 7-9 yards off receivers. You cannot. Yep. They're too good for that. You cannot. I want to see these guys come up and play more bump and run. You cannot let them dudes just sit back there and kill you. A team like Minnesota with Thielen and Jefferson will kill you on the quick slant routes every time. You got to have these guys come up. I'm sitting there watching this. Please Why are they playing? Is Seth Joyner now sitting there screaming? Why are they playing 7 and 9 yards off Brown and Chark? They're not Thielen and Jefferson.
Yeah,
get up there and bump and run these dudes.
Yes. Exactly.
Give your the front seven a chance to get to the quarterback, man.
Bro, also you got to look at those guys that that were blocking for him also. Now, I knew that the 2 tackles they have, the 2 bookends that they have at tackle are really, really good players. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Decker, first rounder, Penei Sewell, first rounder. I knew that Sweat, BG, and all those guys, Reddick, are going to have, they're going to have a hard time against those tackles because they're pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But it still doesn't excuse the inside 2 or inside 3, however many people I have in there. Right. It doesn't excuse them from not getting any pressure on Goff. He could step up whenever he wanted to, and that's a fault that you have from the guys on the inside with an inferior guard selection. Well,
Barrett, 5 or 6 sacks last year, and you get that kind of garbagey sack this year. 1.
It wasn't even a sack. You know they didn't count it as a sack. There was no sack.
It's not even technically counted as a sack.
No, because it was taken from that because the missed snap.
Yeah. So Goff, who can't move, they didn't register a sack against him, and they got ran on for what, $181?
Yes.
And look, DeAndre Swift's a really talented guy.
That dude, he can step. He can flat out step.
I'm taking nothing away from DeAndre Swift. He's legit.
And you
but
talk
it can't be that bad. He can't kill you like he did.
We talk about Goff can't run, but Goff had one run where he took off, and I don't know who it was. He put his foot in the ground and shook somebody and picked up a first down. You got to be kidding me. Are you kidding me? This is Jared Goff.
And by the way, where was Hassan Reddick? How was he utilized? How are you? This is my biggest fear on defense was what? It was how are they going to utilize Hassan Reddick? I don't feel any better about that now as I sit here today.
I saw him blitz from linebacker level. I saw him come off the edge and not get any pressure against Penei Sewell. They tried to move him around because you couldn't get a beat on him. None of that stuff worked. I mean, we're talking about double digits. That means he's going to have to have one heck of a rest of his season to try to have double digits going into the end of the season.
Yeah.
But I did not see it. I didn't see it. So, I mean.
I also thought, Barrett, he looked a little confused at times. Like the one play, he just stopped. There was a play where he didn't know what to do. He was kind of like, what am I? And that's on him. Like he didn't know what to do.
Yes. Take care of the intangibles. Know what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, if Gannon shows Kirk Cousins the same amount of respect he showed Jared Goff in the second half of this game, I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna flat out lose it.
Bro, I don't think he showed Goff respect. I think Goff took the respect that was given to him.
Okay,
he took it because
that's a good way to put it.
You have to identify.
The front four did not do anything to make him in any way uncomfortable, and that's what it was.
So when your front four is not getting home, when that high price front four is not getting home, what do? They started running cab blitzes. That's what they did. They started running cab blitzes.
Well, tell people what that means, Barrett.
Cab blitz is a corner blitz off the edge. Cab blitz is a corner blitz off the edge. They then started running slot blitzes off the edge. They started bringing blitzes from the middle of the field. I mean, when they put Hassan Reddick at linebacker level, bring blitzes there, and they were working. They were frustrating the blitzes were frustrating the Lions. It's just when he didn't blitz, that's when they have big plays.
Yeah, they couldn't get home. Like, in other words, you can't blitz every play. I know fans want the Eagles to blitz
you can't blitz every play.
You can't blitz every play. And the problem was, I thought especially early, Gannon was aggressive early.
After their first series. Right. After Detroit's first series.
Right. And then
the next 3 series.
Barrett's right. Like, when they were in a 4-man front, that's what Goff had all day, and he could climb the pocket, and he was clean. That's where he was hitting Hawkinson.
And that's all I'm saying right there.
St. Brown really started to be effective.
When did that happen? It started happening in the second half.
Yes.
Well, look at this also. The offensive coordinator understood that front four would be very aggressive. He knew that. What is his name?
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
He knew they were going to be aggressive. So what does he do? He goes back to good old-fashioned Pop Warner football. He was running trap plays, using the aggressive nature of the front four to open up rushing lanes for the running back. So what a trap play is, you're going to trap the 3 technique. So what do? You flash in front of him. It's also like a flash in front of him, and he'll go block outside. That defensive tackle run up the field like, oh, I beat him. And all of a sudden he gets to like 2 yards up the field, and then a backside guard traps him.
Right.
And that opened up a huge hole because he was out of place from going up the field so fast and not recognizing that it was a trap play. So bam, he opens up. What happens? Swift runs all the way down the field, 50 yards.
50 yards
on the trap play. They ran that play 3 times in a row.
Yeah, that was the first one. The first big one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And every time they ran it, it hit. The first 3 times it hit for at least 10 yards or more. So how do you stop that from happening? It's recognition by those big dollar guys up front. They weren't recognizing it, so that's why they were having yards.
Let me ask you, as a former player, in turn, should the players themselves have recognized that, or were they not prepared to recognize it?
Start off with, they weren't prepared. Came to the sideline, they had to do some adjustments for it. If you get up the field,
that's on Gannon then.
Yes.
Okay.
You get up the field, and you notice nobody's blocking you. Once somebody vacates, you know somebody's going to come replace. So if you're getting up the field, you're not going to you can't think that you're going to you're that good, you're that free that you're not you just up the field and bam, there's got to be something happening. You're not going to get there for either it's a screen play, it's a draw play, or it's a trap play.
Yeah.
One of the 3. So he has to recognize, whoever it is has to recognize it, stop, stay in the hole, and figure out what's coming to replace the guy that just left. They're not just going to leave you unblocked by yourself. You've got to recognize that they're not blocking you for a reason. Now, the first time, you got it. You know what I'm saying? You got me on that one. You got me. Because there's no way they could have prepared for it because they didn't show that last year. They hadn't shown that at all. So, yes, okay, you got it the first drive. But then after that, you go and make adjustments on the sideline. You should know, all right, if you're getting up the field, there's something that's happening. They're using our aggressive nature against us. So if you get up the field, nobody's blocking you. Like I said, it's one of 3 things. It's a draw play, it's a screen play, or it's a trap play. Yep. One of the 2. So that's why they were able to do that, because they didn't recognize it. Defensive linemen didn't recognize it. Make the adjustment. They slowed it down a little bit. But then after that, they went back to it in the second half, and they were still doing it.
There you go. So what does that say?
It's a lot of coaching and guys not recognizing things that should be recognized.
That's what I'm talking about. But the bottom line is that there are things we're going to praise about this game. There are a lot of things that we're going to chastise. But in the final analysis, at least this team wasn't the 49ers, the Bengals, Tennessee, or Dallas.
Bingo.
Or the Colts that ended up in a tie with the Texans of all teams.
Nobody won in the AFC South yesterday.
That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It was you're right, Gunner. Bottom line is we could call it whatever we want to call it.
Yeah.
It's a W. And they get it. And there are things that they look, this better be a hard week of practice, man. And the good thing is you get an extra day to prep because it's a Monday night game. But there needs to be some wake-up call kind of stuff here for certain guys who I think look, A.J. Brown, we're going to do the offense next, then we'll do the defense. There were certain guys who showed up and a lot of guys who didn't show up. And you're not going to win against, the Vikings not showing up like a lot of those guys did. Now, there's a lot that went on yesterday. We mentioned some of the upsets, also some massive injuries. I'm talking huge ones, including Dak Prescott last night, which really could change the focus of the division, of the whole conference, which we're going to talk about as well. There's a lot to get to, man.
Hey, since we're on the defense, one thing I want to bring up, because I was like, wow, the Eagles safeties, Epps and Johnson, they can flat out go. I'm looking at them coming up and making tackles and filling gaps and bat down passes, thinking this is like watching Jordan Poyer and Michael Hyde. And I, you guys have heard me say, I think the combination of Poyer and Hyde is the best safety combination in the NFL right now. But watching Johnson and Epps come up with their speed to make some plays, I was impressed. But a bigger picture across the board, they better improve tackling in a hurry.
Yes.
They better improve that tackling.
Yes,
no question. Right. There is no question. All right, we come back. We're going to dig a little bit deeper into Jalen Hurts' day, into the offensive line, into Miles Sanders. What happened to Devontae Smith? How does that happen with 0 catches? Goddard,
I'm here.
Goddard 4 targets. Look, A.J. Brown goes bananas. We'll get into all of that. And then we'll do the defense, and then we're going to get into the NFL and everything that went down, the upsets, the wins, who went off, the injuries. It wasn't just Dak Prescott, another massive name with a big-time injury too yesterday as well. So a lot to dive into. Don't go anywhere. We're just scratching the surface here on Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. All right, let's talk finances. Let's talk about Principal Financial Group and the man himself, Jim Murray, because knowing who to trust with your finances is a scary proposition. You work too hard. You work too hard not to be able to take care of your family, especially in retirement. But I got the right person to work with you, and that's Jim Murray of Principal Financial Group. Whether it's retirement planning, 401k review, insurance review, if you have a small business and you need help with your employee benefits, that's another resource that Jim can help you with. And I will tell you the other big thing is he's a sounding board. You have questions about things. Why is this a good investment? Is this a good investment? Should we jump off of this? Should we change things up? Jim's there to help you. I've entrusted my IRA, a couple 401k rollovers. I couldn't be happier. You give him a call and be happy as well. 610-996-4751, 610-996-4751. Or you can email him at Murray, MURRAY.Jim@principal.com. That's Murray.Jim@principal.com.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Welcome to Pondley Hockey, the largest workers' compensation law firm in Pennsylvania. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. Even better, Pondley Hockey doesn't charge a dime until you win. If you've been injured at work, give Pondley Hockey a call.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
All right, we are back. Sports Take on this Eagles Monday. The Birds win 38-35 over the Lions. Hanging out with you. What's the matter, Gunner? You all right?
No, I'm looking at people in the chat talking about Seth for defensive coordinator. Seth would be an outstanding coach, but the Eagles will never hire Seth Joyner as a defensive coach. And Seth will tell you this himself. He's too honest. See, coaches, they don't want to chastise their players publicly because that's not good for in-house morale. Eagles will be afraid of what Seth might say because Seth will call people out. You know, in terms of teaching kids X's and O's, young men X's and O's, Seth will strike the fear of God in a lot of players. but that's not what a lot of coaching fraternity is all about. Am I right or wrong, B. Brooks?
There's no way Seth could coach the
no,
younger generation.
not this organization. Not this organization. No.
Yeah. That's because Seth, you're right. Seth would tell the truth. Seth would let guys know, hey man.
Yeah.
You keep tiptoeing through these tulips, you're gonna tiptoe yourself out to the
Yeah,
Greyhound bus.
Seth ain't babysitting nobody, man.
No.
So you need 53 psychologists nowadays with these players, man. Seth is like from the school of Tom Landry, Buddy Ryan, all these coaches. See, they're gonna call you out, and you can tell it like it is.
You have guys crying. You'd have guys crying in the locker.
Oh yeah, asking to be traded,
asking for their moms to bring umbrellas for them. Yeah.
No, you didn't. You didn't go there.
I think the other issue he would have is, look, the Eagles want this to be very much a collaborative thing, front office coaching.
Absolutely.
And all I don't know that Seth would take kindly to some of that. But I don't know. I don't think it's. I think he's doing what he should be doing. Seth. Not that he couldn't do coach. He could absolutely coach, but. So I'm trying to put that as nicely as possible.
Right. I'm looking at the stream. G Meta, he been listening to to Cilio too much. He couldn't coach these snowflakes. You're right, man. Steph's he's too manly for these snowflakes.
And who's
they
this
just
dude? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
They're scared now that if you say something wrong to these players, I'm not playing anymore. My feelings are hurt, and that's what it is. Especially like college players now. I'm transferring. I'm going to the transfer portal. If you yell at them, that's a problem, man.
Hey, look, you know how long my feelings would be hurt until the next payday. How much I get? This check is for 3.7.
I feel a lot better now. Yeah.
I feel pretty good. I'm looking at this guy. Who's this dude guy talking about D Guns overreacted? Overreacting to what? No, I'm not. Overreacting. See, I hate to acknowledge people like that, but it's Monday, starting the week off. Overreacting. Overreacting to what? I called it like I see it. Everybody saw the same thing.
Yeah.
See, look at C talking about some give Detroit, get the Lions. We ran right over you. Well, where's the W? that's what we're talking about. Okay, what you did? What's the W? Where's the W at? They're 0-1 right now. We're 1-0. So
yeah, I think more than anything else, it's for the whole overreaction thing. Number one, we're in the opinion game. We traffic in opinions and reactions. Okay, yes. And it doesn't mean, if we sit here and say, man, the way the Eagles played, they have no chance this season. The season's over. Yes, that's an overreaction. That's ridiculous. But we react to what we saw the day before. If we didn't, let's look at what this would be. It would be, let's wait till the season's over, then we'll react to everything in total. And we sit here looking at each other with nothing to say. So the whole overreaction thing is patently absurd as far as I'm concerned. Anyway,
this is what I keep you guys going. I'm trying to be the voice of reason because I knew everybody's going to be, doom and gloom. I know for sure that I had to come in and talk you guys down a little bit because I could only imagine watching a game with you two.
Yeah,
I can only imagine.
You can watch a game with me. I would love to, but you know how I am. You couldn't watch a game with me.
No, I was.
You're not gonna see. I'm not gonna be. They won the game. Ooh, I'm so happy. They just won the game. We're happy to escape.
Oh, you're right, man.
I always view it through the prism like, hey, number one, they got the win. That's number one. But number two, my expectation for this team is much higher than what I saw yesterday. And
yes, that's it right there. Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
You know what I mean? Like you hold people in your life accountable at a certain level, your kids, whatever, and you hold yourself to a certain level. And I think the Eagles are better than what they showed yesterday. And I think the other thing is, if you want to be better than the goal isn't to be 9-8, man, and sneak into the playoffs. Kind of backdoor in with an easy schedule. The goal is to get better, to show that you can beat the real teams and win a playoff game at least with the way they play. And again, it's 1 of 17. Think about the way the Eagles season looked. First 7 games versus the way they finished. So things can tend to change in a big way. But yesterday wasn't good enough, and I think they need to make the adjustments or else they're going to be 1-1. If we're sitting here next Tuesday, a week from tomorrow, and they come out and play the way that they played, they won't beat the Vikings, and they're going to be 1-1. So that can't happen, and it can't happen. So a couple things. Prescott's getting surgery as we speak. Timeline by a lot of accounts is 6 to 8 weeks. There's optimism. This is according to Jonathan Jones, who is the lead insider for CBS Sports. Jonathan Jones is tweeting out that there's optimism today in Pittsburgh that outside linebacker, defensive player of the year, TJ Watt did not experience a full pec tear.
Wow.
And will be able to return after sitting out a month or so. If that's the case, Pittsburgh dodged a large bullet, man.
No question. And I'm going to tell you something. Pittsburgh's defense got after it yesterday. What did they sack Burrow 7 times?
Oh, man.
And they improved that offensive line, and he fumbled.
Yeah.
He threw
four interceptions. Yep.
Okay. And they spent a lot of money trying to fix that offensive line. Now, a Mike Tomlin coach team, win, lose, or draw, is going to be ready every game.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. They're bringing it.
Now, granted, Cincinnati should have won that game. They botched the extra point and opened the door for Pittsburgh to steal that win. But the bottom line is Mike Tomlin's team, everybody's talking about Trubisky. Everybody talking about they don't have this, they don't have that. What they have is a coach who knows how to get his players to play. Mm-hmm. Mike Tom, and I don't know how he does it for 15 years, but I guess when you win, when you build a certain pedigree, everybody falls in line.
Yeah, and Gunnar Trubisky did what he needs to do.
Don't
turn it over. Let your running back,
over.
who's phenomenal, do his thing. Let your receivers make enough plays and let the defense do their thing. And that's how they're going to have success. And that was Pittsburgh played really well. We're going to do a full-blown NFL segment in a bit. Let's go back to the offense here, guys. So from an Eagles standpoint, Hurts rushes 17 times for 90 yards, bailed out the offensive line quite a bit. He also throws 18 for 32, 243. Let's start with the passing part of it. We did a lot on his legs and getting out of trouble. How did you guys think he threw the ball yesterday?
I know why they brought in A.J. Brown. He gives you a lot more forgiving catch radius, like I've been saying. I thought
made a really good catch on that one Barrett that was down by. It could have maybe been a touchdown if it was a really good throw.
He was shocked. He was so open. I mean, he looked over like, bam, he's open. That get off the line was crazy. You know, corner went up. I think tried to jam him at the line. He went back, swam his hand, got up, and it was free. And just to go to show you, man, he picked him off the carpet, man, and finished the play. He said that was he got up and just started giggling because. He's like, damn, that was a great catch. You know what I'm saying? He was thinking to say that was a great catch, man. His slant, he threw some great slants to AJ, which allowed him to run after the catch. Just little things like that. I thought that he gave us a legitimate chance to win.
Yep,
and that's why we won the game.
Yeah. He made some great throws, and again, that one he dropped over the top to AJ on the deep ball.
The end of the second quarter was brilliant.
Perfect ball. Now, like every quarterback, he missed some throws. Okay, so what? That goes with the territory. You're not going to make every throw. There's no such thing as a quarterback throwing for 100% in a game. It doesn't happen. And when he was under pressure, he made the decisions he had to make. He stepped up and took off 17 times. And when the few times that Detroit, when Hurts tried to roll outside, and you saw Detroit extending the covers, the DN stayed home, the cornerback stayed home. He had a decision to make, throw the ball or throw it away. He threw it, he tossed it away. And a couple of times he was about to be sacked. As he's going down, he flipped the ball away to avoid taking a sack.
There were some close intentional groundings.
Oh, yeah. There was one. There's no way that ball got to the line of scrimmage, so they didn't call it.
Eagles quickly snapped it. They didn't waste a lot of time.
No.
But anyway, I don't want to take away from your point, but yeah.
But I thought he played, and I said off the top of the show, he played the game he had to play based on what Detroit was throwing at him. Their cornerbacks, like the Eagles cornerbacks, were playing 7-9 yards off the ball. What did AJ do? Boom, 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 slant every time, and picked up all his yards. He slanted them to death. Detroit made no adjustments to counter that because they were afraid AJ was going to stick his foot in the ground, turn up, and go on them. Okay, so you gave up all that underneath stuff. Allowed the Eagles to continue to do what they were doing. The man had 10 catches, $155.
He was ridiculous.
He was phenomenal.
All right, so two things off of that. One, I might sound nitpicky a little bit, but whatever. I think there are still times.
I say whatever.
And I don't mean when he was running for his life, and there was a lot of jail breaks where he had to run for his life. So I don't mean that. He made unbelievable plays to make positive yardage, like incredible. But there are still times where I think he takes off a little bit too soon, and it's a work in progress. There is still that. The other part of it is the slants are awesome, and A.J. Brown was extremely effective with the slants. And by the way, some of those weren't easy throws. They might be slants.
They were
difficult throws.
Well, they bracketed A.J.
He puts right between a linebacker and the corner or safety who was in coverage, and it was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. He was the linebacker was fading back to bracket that slant play. And he bent the slant route out a little bit and then in to compensate for it also.
So, but the question I have is the one that Gunnar just referenced, the beautiful dime that he drops at the end of the second quarter, that excluding I think there was only one throw in the air over 20. Is that just something that they saw they can attack Detroit on, or is that we're still not, completely comfortable with the full arsenal here with Jalen?
Well, it has a lot to do with the offensive line also.
Okay.
If the offensive line can't hold up, if they're
Gotta get it
blitzing
out
like
quick.
that, yeah. If you're getting blitzed like that, then you don't have the time to go out there and run deep routes.
That's
you
fair.
have
That's
to make
fair.
sure you get the ball out of your hands.
Yep.
I don't care if he, I don't. Oh, I'm sorry, Bear. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I don't care. I don't care if he throws 30 passes under 20 yards. If he's completing 65, 68% of his passes, with the receiving crew that he has, and of course they'll expand it more so, because Devontae Smith didn't get his, Quez didn't get his. As they continue to evolve as an offense to spread the wealth, I don't care how many under 20-yard passes he throws.
Brady
if it's
made
being
a living
effective.
out of it. Made a living out of it.
It wasn't. It helped him win 7 Super Bowls.
Right. So
And Brady is a master at dinking and dunking you to death.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of Brady, though, real quick, that old man can still throw a deep ball. You see some of the deep balls he threw?
Yeah. He's not done. That's for sure.
Good night.
Well,
Dallas was a mess last night.
Oh, that was a mess. That was
And
a
I'm not taking. And it was beautiful. What a way to cap off a Sunday night. It was a chef kiss. Thank you. But even before Dak got hurt, their offense sucked.
Yes.
Anyway,
And you can tell they're missing Amari Cooper big time.
they are.
no
We'll get to
question
that.
about
All right.
Yeah.
So the offensive line, in terms of pass protection, terrible. Not nearly accepted. You can have the moniker of the best offensive line in the league. You got to be way better than that. Number one, good in the run game. Go ahead.
Once again,
Here we go.
I'm sorry, guys. I can't just go all out. There were times, a guy here and there got beat, but for the most part, you've got 5 guys that are blocking the kitchen sink, everything but the kitchen
Okay,
sink.
where are Nick and Shane's adjustments then?
Now where the backs picking up the blitzes? The backs weren't even picking up the blitzes.
Miles Sanders
There's
still
two
can't
ways
pick
you
up a pass block. He
There's
can't
2
throw it.
ways you can beat the blitz: getting the ball out fast.
Mhm.
That's one way to beat the blitz.
Yep.
Or brings more people in to have solid protection. That's another way to do it.
Was there any screens?
I think there was one screen maybe.
Not many.
Okay, but you talking about adjustments, Bear. Here's one of the things I kept harping on. It wasn't that Detroit was disguising a lot of blitzes. You could tell when they were coming. Where the hot reads? You got to have hot reads, man.
And that's on the quarterback, right?
Back them out of
Those
the
were
blitz.
those were the slant plays that you got to
AJ.
AJ Brown. Those are the hot reads. Those are the slant plays you got from AJ Brown. Sometimes you run scat protection. Scat protection is that 5 down offensive lineman is 5 against the world.
Yeah.
And you got to get the ball out on time. You're right. Running backs need to pick up the blitz better.
Yes.
A lot of time they got caught in the inside and couldn't come out to the outside to pick up the blitz on the outside. But it looked like it was a train wreck. It looked like it was a fire, a fire drill. But that's only because they just kept blitzing.
Yep.
Aaron Glenn blitzed the heck out of this team.
Yes, he did.
So that's why the offensive line didn't look like they played well when they actually did. In fact, they actually balled out against Hutchinson. Hutchinson can play, man.
Oh, dude,
I mean,
he's
can
good.
pass rush.
I know he didn't get home. He's everywhere.
Yes.
His
Yes.
motor is insane.
He finished, and they were finishing him.
I'm watching the game, and Barrett, I give you credit because you made me watch. There were 2 things I was watching that we talked about last week. We kept harping on don't get caught up in the hard knocks mix. And I remember Barrett saying, you know what? Hutchinson, once he finds out that this is for real, it's going to be a little different. And this kid, Rodrigo, the 2 players.
I was totally wrong about it.
Look,
Rodrigo ball.
Did you see the play where Rodrigo slammed down Kelsey?
Yes.
Have you guys seen that one?
Yes.
Oh my God! Like
Rob, it's
oh
funny
my
you should
God.
say that. Rob, funny you should say that because when that happened, I don't know what made me do this, but I went to the roster. I said, Rodrigo just slammed Kelsey. I look, he's 5'11", 235.
dude,
Yes.
he is strong as hell.
Whoa!
Okay.
I was looking at him. The kid can run.
Yes.
He reads things. He recognizes things. He goes and makes plays.
Good tackler.
Yeah.
was.
They got some players. Look, that's not a 3-win team. First of all, okay,
Yeah.
we need to stop with this is the same Detroit.
Right.
And all that. I'm not telling you they're some playoff team and going to win a Super Bowl, but they're not a 3-win team. That's a 7-8 win team, in my opinion. We'll see going forward. But regardless, very encouraging was Miles Sanders, in my opinion.
No question.
I thought he hit it up hard. I thought he stuck his foot in the ground. We saw it on the one that iced the game, where he keeps his feet moving and then picks up the big gainer. There, he had a couple of those where he was stuffed initially and he kept going. And he didn't get over 100, but it was a really good day for him. 13 for 96, 7.4 average.
Yep.
That's a big time game for Miles Sanders.
You know what I love most? You know what I love most about Miles? There were several runs where he didn't go down after initial contact, kept his feet moving and picked up additional yards.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
And that tells me this kid, like we've been saying all off season, he's playing with a purpose this year. He knows what this year means to him.
Yep.
More than just being the bell cow, which just blows me away that a bell cow running back in this offense is 13 to 15 carries a game.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's playing for his contract.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. And he balled out yesterday.
Look, he's heard everything all off season. He knows.
Yeah, he has.
He knows what people are saying about, myself included. I look, there's a lot of doubt there, but nobody questions the guy's talent.
No,
it's there. It's just staying on the field. And I thought he was really good, man. I thought he was really good yesterday.
While we're talking about the running backs, the one thing that really frustrates me about this running back core is, why is Boston Scott like the forgotten entity in this offense?
Yeah.
Now he scored a rushing touchdown. You have 4 different people score rushing touchdowns.
That's amazing too.
But Boston Scott, and I understand they drafted Kenneth Gainwell. They want Kenneth Gainwell to succeed because they drafted Kenneth Gainwell. But Boston Scott is as tough as they come between the tackles. To be a 5'7" bowling ball, I don't understand why he doesn't get more touches. He can catch it out of the backfield. Yeah. I think he's the best blocking back they have, to be quite honest.
And you might see
it's not a strength of Miles
because of that. Yes.
Yeah.
You might see that because he definitely blocked his butt off, man.
Yes.
He gave him opportunities, because there was the floodgates were opening, and I really thought that, the running back position, they would just want to get out and play the hot. You know what I'm saying? Just get them out, play the hot, so if they do come, they can just dump it out on the outside.
Right.
Well, they did that when Miles was in, but if Boston Scott was in, he would stay in for protection. He would block the protection, and I was kind of surprised that.
I don't want to gloss over AJ Brown because this had the sort of like T.O. feel to it.
Yes.
In a debut. 10 catches, 155 yards, 15.5 yards per catch, 13 targets. He had the 54-yarder, as we talked about. It was on full display. I mean, the chemistry with him and Hurts, his ability to break a tackle, the strength. This guy's a tank as a wide receiver. I mean, he is that guy. He's woof. This is going to be fun.
That one catch he had in the red zone where he drug a dude about 8 yards before they brought him down inside the 5-yard line. I'm like, that's a grown man right there.
Yeah, it is.
That's a grown man. You talk about strong. Oh my goodness. But if I'm Devonta Smith, I'm like, hey guys, what about me? I was shocked Devonta Smith had no catches. He had 4 targets, no catches. But you're right, Rob. AJ Brown is everything that you thought you hope he would be, and then some. Dude, let me tell you something. Number one, his hands are incredible. Yeah. Number 2, his after the catch. I didn't see his jack yards. I want to know how many yards he had after the catch.
We'll find it. I'll find it
yesterday.
Yeah. No, he was great. He was just awesome, and you can tell those two have chemistry. And when in doubt, Jalen's going there. But let's talk about the Devontae thing. Now, is this just a matter of Barrett? Hey, look, some games there's going to be matchups. Some games a dude's hot. Whatever. We again, we see it in basketball. Somebody's just you feed the guy. He's hot. Keep running plays for him.
Well, they were feeding him. They were feeding AJ because AJ was out there producing.
Mm-hmm.
He was trying to feed. He was trying to get the ball to Smith, but he just didn't. He didn't catch him. He dropped him. He had legitimately two drops.
Yeah. He had 4 targets, 2 drops.
You can't think your quarterback's gonna keep throwing it to you if you keep having drops. That's ludicrous for him to even think that he was gonna go back to him after that.
Well, I mean, yeah. That's why when we were talking about projections back in August for the receiving core, I said it wouldn't surprise me if you had 2 or 3 receivers all a 900-yard range in receptions, because it's going to be game to game. It's going to be AJ one game, Devontae the next game. It could be Quest. Dallas Goedert is going to have a big game out of the backfield. One of the backs is going to have a big game out of the backfield. It's going to be a spread the wealth offense. Now, there's a good possibility you may have a 1,000-yard receiver, especially if AJ keeps doing what he's doing. But I wouldn't be surprised if you have 3 guys over 900 yards receiving because of the way they spread the ball.
Yeah. Well, would you Barrett on Monday run some stuff early just to get Devontae going, or is that not something you have? You would emphasize that.
Yeah, I would just to keep number one, just to keep that defense honest, because they're going to try to bracket AJ wherever he is. In order to get him out that bracket, you need your second guy to go out there and ball out.
Because the Vikings are going to do everything they can to take A.J. Brown away.
He's going to have a guy that's going to travel with him every single play. If they're smart, he's going to have somebody travel with him every single play. I've seen guys do that, and the other guys got to pick up the slack. The other guys got to go out there and ball and keep things honest. They've got to keep things honest. As a defensive minded coach, look, I got to make sure that I get him out there. I have to make sure that I do. But I just can't see. I can't see him. I can't see Smith not having the production.
He's too good.
Exactly
for a donut. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He's too good not to have any catches in a game. And look, I don't think this is going to be a situation where Devontae is going to all of a sudden start complaining and going crazy and pointing fingers or any of that.
No.
But I'm with you. I would, if I'm Nick and I'm Shane Steichen, hey, we're going to run some stuff for him early. We're going to get him off and get him going a little bit. And, I think it's just a smart way to go about your business next week.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be look, and Goddard too. I mean, Goddard, 3 catches, 60 yards. I mean, utterly effective here, but only 4 targets. He's another one who's so good. And I know there's only so many balls to spread around here, but you telling me 5-6 catches is asking too much for Dallas Goedert?
Right.
There's a lot of talent here. All right. I want to go back to the offensive line for a minute, in particular with the pass rush and when the way they kind of struggled, at least at times. What are you doing? Because I think Minnesota's going to at least try and do similar things early on you on Monday night. What are you doing to adjust? Is some of this just guys got to be better and win their one-on-ones, but what do you do with the extra pressure? How are you handling that, Barrett?
You talking from a defensive standpoint going against?
No, how are you as far as the offensive line to play better than they played in pass pro?
Stoutland gonna ream him. He's gonna cuss him out. They got a long meeting in which they got to go through, and you can almost guarantee that they won't play the same way they played. You're gonna see guys finishing plays. You're gonna see guys running and going beyond like a Stoutland offensive line does. You just didn't see the production because I really don't think that they're in game type shape. They're in shape, but are they in game 4-quarter game shape? I think that's the difference between what you saw out there this time and what you usually see. They're just not in prime time game 4-quarter shape right now. You'll see that and they'll get better. They'll have a better showing. It won't even be close with the defensive line they're going against. It's not even close to what Detroit has. Not even close.
They better be 7 days from now. They better be.
Exactly.
Because you talk Minnesota's pass rush and that set of linebackers.
I say their pass rush isn't up there. I think their linebackers are very, very good, though.
And you don't think Minnesota's studying the heck out of this tape?
Yes. They're going to bring the house like they just did.
What?
I just, look, there have got to limit. I don't want to limit Jalen in the sense that I want him to be effective with his legs and his arm. I just don't want 17 rushes is too many for me.
Way too many.
That was a lot of hits, man. He is a tough dude.
Yes, he is. That's a tough dude.
He is a tough dude, but it will get to everybody eventually with the size and the ferocity of those hits. All right, so we're coming back and we're going to look at the defense here, and we touched on it a little bit earlier, but I don't think any of us thought 35 points allowed would be how this thing would shake out from a Detroit perspective, but they put up a 35 spot. We will get into what went wrong, what are the positives, more on Jonathan Gannon and the approach, how much of this is on the players. We'll dive into all of that when we get back. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis off and rolling on a Monday, an Eagles Monday. All right, time to talk about Pro Action Restoration. Yes, Pro Action Restoration is just an unbelievable resource for you if you have a home or a business and you've experienced the pain of fire, or you do experience the pain of water, fire, smoke damage, mold remediation, or you're going through it right now. They're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week as Pro Action. I've gone through it. It happened at my parents' house. They had a finished basement that got soaked. We couldn't figure out what the problem was. Not only did they clean it up, they gave us a diagnosis of what it was. We got it fixed. The crew was professional. The whole thing was done in an unbelievably clean, rate with a reasonable rate. They're licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company as well. So it could be fire, could be water, could be smoke, could be mold remediation. You name it, they can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, or you can look them up online. ProActionRestoration.com. That's ProActionRestoration.com.
My wife was in an accident that changed our lives forever. She was in rehabilitation for years. She had to learn to walk again. She couldn't take care of herself. We couldn't afford a nurse. We were running out of options. One conversation with Pond Lehocky changed everything. They understood what we were going through and immediately helped us navigate the legal process. We can't thank them enough.
Pond Lehocky. Tell us your story.
Go for the pulls and the pools. Go for the oohs and the ahs. Go for the bubbles and the bubbly. Go for the story and the stories. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
It's the #1 news at 10 p.m. Action News on PHL 17. Join Shari Williams, Gray Hall, Deuces Rogers, and meteorologist Adam Joseph for all the big stories at a time that's right for you. Action News at 10 p.m. on PHL 17.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
but as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky. We've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that. Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
We are back. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network, each and every day, noon Eastern to 3 hours of power. He is Barrett Brooks. He is Derek Gunn. I am Rob Ellis. We're talking about the Eagles' 38-35 win over the Lions in Week 1, coming up at 2 o'clock. We're going to go through the entire league. Key injuries, upsets left and right, weirdness, all kinds of crazy games. Week 1 in the NFL. We'll dive into the NFC East also to take a look at what happened with Dallas, what happened with Washington. And my man Dayballs, because he has a pair. He does, Brian Dayballs. What he was able to do in that game and what they did. All right, so defensively, guys, let's start with this. Detroit ends up rushing on the day for 181 yards, more than 6.5 yards per carry, and 3 rushing touchdowns. Let's begin there. Why were they so effective with the ground game? In particular, DeAndre Swift, 15 rushes, 144. He averaged 9.6 yards per carry. Why were they so effective on the ground?
Well, start off, they were effective early. So we're talking about, what was it? Out of those 3 trap plays they ran, they probably had 70 yards, 80 yards. Just
51 on the one. Yeah.
51. Then they had one on like 14 and another one like another 12 or something like that.
Where is it here? You know me, I logged the game.
Yeah. So
always log the game.
The first 3 run plays were trap plays.
So the first run play was 51 yards.
Mm-hmm.
And then Williams ran for 7, and he ran again for 4. And then false start, go off the Huckett. Williams ran for 1, and then he ran it in for the touchdown. So and then Swift ran for 9. So the big plays on that drive were 51 and 9.
51, 9, 7.
7, 4, 4.
So
and then 1.
The big plays I know were trap plays. So we're
Yes.
saying right around 60, 70 yards
Yes.
were on those 3 plays. So out of that, for the rest of the game, that's when they started, they had a couple other long runs on draw plays. They just found, they found holes in gaps in that defense trying to be so aggressive. So you just got to keep being aggressive. You just can't allow it to happen. You need more out of your D-line. The D-line needs to step it up. Because when you start blitzing, if you're not running specific run play blitzes, it's going to be hard, man. When they're pass plays, it's easier. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to get to the passer. But if they catch you, and that's what they were doing, they were catching them on obvious passing downs and getting guys up the field and then running right up underneath them. They just
and again, some of that sounds like coaching to me, Barrett.
It is. You're absolutely right. It is coaching.
So how would you assess Gannon's day?
Wait, let me say. I want to stay close and hear this. I want to stay close. Go ahead.
I was going to grade him.
Yeah,
I would say C.
That's not good enough, man. I know, like C's get degrees, and
what
that's
do you mean?
passing.
What do you mean? You mean that half, 3/4 of your 3/4 of the salary cap they spent this year on defense? You're saying they're not good? Damn right, it's not good.
And you're down 2 guards at the one spot, and Ragnall's playing with a bad groin. On top of it,
the thing is, Detroit came back to the second half with the trap plays and still ran it down their throats. You didn't adjust. First of all, you have 4 mountains of men at the D tackle spot. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of money invested in Reddick, Graham, Sweat, Barnett on the edge.
Well, you got what, 6? So you got $6 million in Barnett. You got Fletcher Cox, you got $14 million. Hargraves, you got $11 million.
Sweat, we over $30 million already.
Sweat, you got another what, 10 million? That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
That aren't. I mean, and BG is what, another 9 million, 8
something
million?
like that. So you saw close to 40 million along that defensive line.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
And you getting sucked into the trap every other play.
Yeah.
4 quarters. Now the first quarter, okay, I'll give you. Okay, because you haven't really seen them because it's the first game of the season. By the second half, when they're telling you, they're trapping. What are you guys talking about on the sideline over there?
Yeah.
As a defensive coordinator and the personnel playing the game, what are you guys talking about on the sideline? Are you looking up in the stands, looking at the people? What are you doing?
Hey, mom.
What are you doing?
Yeah, that's a lot of money, man. They allocated a lot of money to the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, you think about the upgrades they make in the offseason. You get Hassan Reddick, you get Kaiser White, you get James Bradbury, you get Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You draft Jordan Davis, you draft Kobe Dean. That's not a couple tweaks. That's 35 points to Detroit week 1.
When Marcus Epps is your leading tackler, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
It's a major problem.
Now, you can say the same thing for Detroit because Detroit's 2 leading tacklers were secondary personnel that had 13 and 9 tackles. Their secondary personnel combined had 22 tackles just on 2 guys. So that's a problem also. But your secondary should not be your leading tacklers.
How about 22 snaps for Jordan Davis sound about right? That's 32%. Or considering the way he played when he was in there, do we need to see more?
That's about right.
I thought he was pretty effective when he was in there. Now, I don't know if he can handle it stamina-wise. I don't know if they're protecting him from himself. That's the hard thing to judge with this.
No, it's not a hard thing to judge. You get your ass out there and play.
There we go. Here we go.
Barrett, I don't disagree. Get your ass out there and play, but I don't want him getting just rolled over too.
That's what we were talking about. You got to get yourself in game shape,
right?
And that's one of the things that we kind of talked about it a little bit
in August
last week. You know what I'm saying? We talked about a little bit because we were talking about, well, are they going to be in shape enough because they didn't go through preseason? They didn't have a lot of reps. He didn't have clearly enough reps in preseason. I mean, just by example, my rookie, I played every single snap of the preseason to get me ready for the regular season because I was starting left tackle.
Yep.
He should have played every single rep possible to get in game shape, to get his speed ready to go. I mean, that's it. The bottom line, he's got to do it.
I would go so far as to say Jordan Davis is going to play like 20 to 30 snaps every game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only because of the people you have in front of him who have to justify that kind of money.
Fletcher Cox, Hargrave.
Yes. And you got to give Milton
Williams
his reps.
Yep.
You know, he's on a rookie contract. He deserves to get his reps as well.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis, 22, 25 snaps. That's about right for him in his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
It's about right.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, here's the bottom line. I mean, you look at what went down in the second half and what were able to do, Detroit's offense I'm talking about here in the second half. And they, as I mentioned, they go on drives of 78, 75, and 72 yards, which resulted in touchdowns. Eagles are up by 17 in the third with 4.5 minutes to go. They're up, by that margin. Detroit converts 9 of 14 third downs. The rushing yard total is over 181. I mean, it was a frustrating day. It started off frustrating. Then you really looked at it and said, all right, they've settled in. They're going to be fine. And then after that, it was kind of like, oof, man, this has got to be better than this. And the weird thing is we thought going in defensive line, offensive line, that's the last thing you have to worry about. We're going to worry about, you're going to worry about Hurts and you're going to worry about whatever. How much on the defensive side is a lot of new faces?
Yeah,
well, it is a lot. That's a lot. That is a lot. But
they have no game reps together. It takes time for that to gel. We get that, but individual effort, I expected to see a little bit more than what we saw. Would you agree or disagree, Mr. Brooks?
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. I don't know if you guys really peeped what I said. 3/4 of the salary cap has been given to the defensive side of the ball
because you have a cheap quarterback. You can
right.
You can put a lot of money. Yeah. Yep.
So I mean, all right, you're really just essentially just paying
AJ.
AJ the new money. You know what I'm saying? That's the only really new money that you have on that side of the ball.
Well, they adjusted Lane, giving him more money up front.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you're right. In terms of new money, the only one really is AJ.
Yes. But look at all the new money they spend on the other side.
Yes.
Riddick, White, Bradbury, CJ.
Yep.
That's a lot of money, man, allocated to just those guys.
Absolutely.
So they should play a lot better. Now, you asked the question that, that it probably does have a lot of validity to it. Have these guys played together long enough? And I'm saying the guys up front have.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? The D-line, they have.
Fair.
They played enough together.
Edwards
Even
in the
with
middle
Davis,
has. Yeah.
Even with Davis in the middle, that's D-line. You should be able to go in there, grip it and rip it. Let's go. I mean, the secondary, that's where you might have problems. But the secondary looked all right.
Yeah.
I'm having a problem.
You're right. The problem is the guys up front and the bulk of the snaps are Fletcher Cox, Javon Hargrave, whoever you want to throw in the end, Brandon or Josh Sweat, depending on how you utilize Reddick, that kind of thing. I mean, they're the guys who got the bulk of the snaps up front.
It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous that those guys up front, the guys in which you can trust those. You would think you could trust Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, Sweat, Graham to get pressure on the quarterback.
Right.
You could trust him. You got a newbie in Hassan Reddick where you really don't still know how to use him effectively. But he still didn't go out there and play. up to my expectations, man. You didn't put him in a great enough position to be successful. I didn't see a lot of heat on him. Just like you said, Jared Goff was back there. He was patting
the ball. And then when the outside pressure came around, all he did was 1-2 steps up in the pocket, bought himself an extra second or two. That's all he did. He wasn't running. He wasn't running. Now I'm going to give. We have dissected this high-priced defensive line, and rightfully so. But I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt based on what Mr. Barrett has said before this game and even today. They're not in shape. Okay, yes. We understand that. They only had limited game reps in the preseason, which goes back to the argument of should you play your regulars more in the preseason? The fact that Detroit State, and a big part of the reason why Detroit stayed in this game, because Dan Campbell ran his guys through the mill in preseason. Yeah. Those boys are playing whole halves in the preseason. These guys play what, quarter maybe? Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm going to give them that. Do not come out Monday night against Minnesota's offense playing the same kind of game you played against Detroit. Because, like I said, Tuesday, I'm going to lose it. If I see Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen waving hands like a like they're trying to fair catch a punt, running wide open in the middle of the field, I'm going to lose it.
Well, look, this is where Jonathan Gannon's got to show everybody, if he's that guy who should be interviewed by other teams and all that. And here's the other part. Let's not leave the head coach off the hook. I know he's an offensive mind, but he's got to recognize this kind of stuff too. And the point's got to be driven home that this defense, more than any other aspect, it was completely unacceptable in this game. The third down conversions, I mean, all of it. The passing game, and really as the game went on, they were effective in the pass game too. Like St. Brown, I thought really started to come on.
Yes, he did.
As this thing went on.
Yes, he did.
So for all those reasons,
because that quarterback had more than enough time to find him. Because in the first half, again, every time the Eagles sent pressure, those second, third, fourth series, Goff was throwing the ball behind his receivers, at the feet of his receivers, because he is known for buckling under pressure. When he's under pressure, he's not a runner. He's not a scrambler. He's not a great at sidestepping either. Okay. He's an in the pocket between the tackles passer.
Mm-hmm.
I would have sent a linebacker or a safety up the middle every time and even if I had to get home, just give him the thought. There's a possibility that one of those guys blitzing up the middle might slip up between my center and my guard.
Yeah.
And make him hurry his throw.
Yeah.
Which they did a great job of second, third, fourth series. Second half, man, they're back there trying to make Goff look like a Pro Bowler.
I know. So what do you think of the cause of that, though? To me, it has everything to do with not necessarily. Well, it is coaching because they're not. I don't think they're in good enough game shape to really do it. I mean,
you had the corners. You had the corners to stay with those particular receivers. Let them dudes play bump and run to make their quarterback pump the ball a little bit more. When it was clear as day in the second half, your vaunted 4-man rush was not getting home. Send people from different angles. Disguise it. Detroit, I'm sitting there looking. Here comes, you see the safety creeping down on Detroit. You see a corner creeping down. You knew they were coming. Your quarterback sitting in the line of scrimmage, he sees them coming. And made him throw the ball away more than he should have.
Yeah, I mean, look.
All you got to do.
Flip it, jump the other side. I mean, we're going to see, I think Minnesota's going to send the house a lot too. And but the problem with that is Hurts' legs can kill you if that's the case. But I mean, he just escaped a couple of those, man. It was close.
Yes, he did.
Oh,
you talking about Eric Kendricks, Zadarius Smith, and Jordan Hicks.
Did you see the day that Jordan Hicks had?
Yes.
So,
yes.
I don't know. Like, this is a guy when he's healthy who's really effective. And I know sometimes tackles, can be misleading. But I don't know, for whatever reason, I was digging around in their box score yesterday. Jordan Hicks had 14 tackles and a sack.
Yes, he did. Wait. Okay. The linebacker had 14 tackles, right?
Yes.
Not the safety, not a corner. Linebacker.
Yep.
Which is the way it should be.
Yeah.
Linebacker should be your leading tacklers.
And that's on the Packers. So
how do you keep
Hurts clean?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to try to comprehend what the guys.
Do you go into like more 12 personnel with Jack Stoll in there, who's a good blocker? Do you utilize Boston Scott as in protection?
Yes.
From a back standpoint.
Yes.
More of that.
You got to have a running back who can step up and meet that pressure coming. You got to have, and Boston Scott is the best back that they
Goddard's
have.
a good pass blocker too.
Yes, he
it's
is.
Not like he isn't a good, but obviously, you know, you want him out in patterns too.
Yes. I just don't see him doing that. I think they're going to try to beat it with the pass.
Ooh, okay.
And, you know, get him out of it. You know, throw him. You can throw defenses out of a blitz unit like that by completing pass, like hitting those slants and everything like that. So I don't know if they'll even blitz him as much as Detroit did, because they started beating them with the blitz, with the slant plays to AJ Brown, and they can't think that that they're going to continue to not hit Devontae and make him big in his offense. I mean, they can't think that that's going to happen. So when I look, you're right. I mean, Jordan Hicks, ball, man. I'm trying to see, how many did he have? Yeah, 14 tackles. He had 9. He had
9 solo,
5 assisted. Then my guy Harrison Smith, 5 solo.
He had a pick too.
Yeah, and a pick. Yeah. This is a really good fundamentally based defense. Yeah, Jordan Hicks had a sack. Hunter had a sack. Zadarius Smith had a sack. Wonham had a sack. Damn.
Yeah, they showed up. And what, like, everybody's sort of just attributing that game to, the young receiver sucked for Rodgers. I mean, there was some of that. And what's his name? Watson dropped one that was, you can't throw it any better early. But it wasn't just that. Like, Minnesota's defense brought it in a big way in that game. That's for sure. So, all right, let's do this. Let's come back. We'll continue the Eagles talk, but let's dive into the NFL here, guys, and a lot of the big stories. And we'll start with 2 massive injuries that went down yesterday. One that really directly affects the Eagles, and we'll look at some of the timing of when that said individual might be back, but we'll get into the TJ Watt injury as well. So we'll dive into all that kind of stuff and some of the upsets, everything that went down week 1, and we'll continue with the Eagles talk as well. Don't go anywhere. Barrett Brooks, Derek Gunn. I am Rob Ellis. We're Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. All right, let's talk Razor Technology, because Razor Technology's comprehensive managed service provider solution delivers constant monitoring, on-demand assistance, and rapid use resolution. Through data vetted and insight-driven implementation, we strengthen your existing IT resources with both human power and expertise that reduces security risks and downtime while enhancing organizational efficiency and productivity. They are a strategic resource for adaptive and fast-growing companies that need help selecting, implementing, and managing their IT services. Our goal always is bigger than one project, one problem, or one upgrade. It's improving the overall functioning of our partners and helping them achieve their business objectives through ongoing synergistic relationship. Give your IT team the freedom to refocus by augmenting their reach with Razor Technology. Contact Razor Technology today to learn how our managed services can protect and enhance your business by calling 866-797-3282, 866-797-3282, or you could visit them online at razor-tech.com. That's razor-tech.com.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky, the largest workers' compensation law firm in Pennsylvania. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. Even better, Pond Lehocky doesn't charge a dime until you win. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Back Sports Take on this Monday. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. Eagles win 38-35 over the Detroit Lions. They will take on the Minnesota Vikings a week from today at Lincoln Financial Field. It'll be the Eagles' first home game of the season. It'll be a Monday night matchup. Should be a good one, man. This is going to be a fun week to look forward to. That's for sure. All right, so let's start with this, guys. Couple of things, injury standpoint. Dak Prescott. You know, and really it was a game last night, even before the Prescott injury, that Dallas looked just listless in that game. And they ended up losing 19-3 to the Tampa Bay Bucks in Dallas, mind you. But late in the game in the fourth quarter, Prescott throwing kind of follow-through deal, hits his hand on the was it Shaq Barrett? I'm trying to remember who it was, but hits his hand. Turns out he's a fracture in the thumb, and they're expected to be 6 to 8 weeks, which, you know, that'll be past when the Eagles play them week 6, by the way, for what it's worth, if you're looking ahead. But this thing has flipped the script in a big way, odds-wise, too. It was a situation where Dallas was the favorite to win the division. Now the Eagles are minus 150. The Eagles are the prohibitive favorite to win the division now. This is a major, major blow to Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, Dak was the only really deciding factor on why this team wasn't the undeniable, leader as far as winning this division. You know, he was by far the best quarterback in our division until now. You know, with him being gone, this team has just lost too much. Dallas has just lost too much. And I say that, and then all of a sudden, bam, they get some hope. You know, we're going to do it for the Gipper. We got you. You know what I'm saying? They go out and start balling, man. But, I mean, they looked pedestrian yesterday. Very pedestrian.
Yeah, they looked. I mean, CeeDee Lamb was a non-factor. The run, they couldn't get anything. And I know Tampa's got a good defense. There's no denying. Exactly. But they couldn't do anything last night.
Let me throw this at you. Should we be worried about Washington?
Well, yeah. Let me just stay on Dallas for a sec with the injury. Do you think they go after Jimmy G?
No.
Do you think they go after Gardner Minshew?
No, I don't think the 49ers, especially after, and granted it was in the muck in the rain, I don't think there's any way the 49ers allow Jimmy G to leave.
No.
There's no way he leaves the Bay Area because, again, I think he's going to be playing a lot sooner than a lot of people think.
I agree with you.
And that's just off of him, all right, well, we don't have time to just be wasting on this young guy right now. When he's ours, we'll have him for a long time, for at least the next 2-3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're not worried about him necessarily being a guy that, we have to make him play right now. Jimmy G here, we're still paying him a lot of money. Why not throw him in there? They lose another one. I don't know who they have next. Let me see who they have next. You know, it's a good chance that they say, you know, forget it. I gotta go with what's won with us. You know.
Yeah, I think they know.
Seattle.
Yeah,
they lose against Seattle. It's a foregone conclusion,
right?
That he'll be in there.
Plus, I'm not trading Minshew to the Cowboys, who can give Dallas's defense an offensive blueprint inside and out.
I'm not doing it either. I'm not doing it either because we saw how many hits that Jalen Hurts took. I'm not taking that chance.
No, can't.
Let's just say, like last year, Minshew's got to get you through 2 or 3 games. Even that is worth not getting a 3rd or 4th rounder for me if you can win 2 of those games when he's in there playing.
Right. Yeah. There's I don't think there's a quarterback out there that could come in and immediately. You know, I saw some people earlier today on social media. Will they go after Cam Newton? I think Cam Newton's better days are behind him.
Yeah,
to be honest,
I agree.
You know,
I think they are too.
I think Dallas is in trouble.
So I was just going to say, I think there's just so much floating around with the Cowboys right now, and now with Prescott out, Sean Payton looming, you know, the whole thing with Mike McCarthy. Jerry's just spewing nonsense. I don't know if you saw some of the things he said last week. I got to believe 1 + 1 = 3. Like what? I don't know what's happening there. But it just feels like that's ready to come unhinged.
Could McCarthy buy himself a reprieve now that his quarterback's gone? Could they basically say, you know what? We had a lot of hope this season, but we didn't have the quarterback. This is not on Mike McCarthy.
No.
You know, we didn't recognize we might have needed this. We might have needed that. With no quarterback, what do you expect us to do? Obviously, Cooper Rush ain't it. You know, so who knows? You know, but the problem I have, Jerry comes out right after the game and tells everybody, oh, Dak's out. He's going to need surgery. Shouldn't they have huddled up as an organization first? How do we want to present this?
It's part of their dysfunction, Derek.
Yes. He
you don't
answers
need to be
to
front
nobody.
and center with everything, man.
Right. No, not right away. Not right away. I mean, seriously. He came out before the coaches spoke and basically told everybody. So you put the coach in an awkward position.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
as much as people are like, oh, where's Jeffrey Lurie all season long? I much prefer my owner stay back in the wings,
exactly,
than be up front. Like Jerry just wants every camera he sees, he loves, and he wants to, you know, he's the GM. He holds the title of GM,
and that's why Howie goes silent also during the season. You're not going to hear from Howie. You're not going to hear from Jeffrey. Jeffrey makes his State of the Union after the last game of the season, training camp, and maybe the draft. You see Jeffrey maybe 3-4 times the entire year. Howie comes out when he has to come out, trade, deletion, free agency, draft. That's it. You know, and that's what your front office should do. You don't need to be front and center all the time.
Right.
Jerry Jones has his own radio show, says what he wants to say. Yeah, that puts the coach in a bad situation when the owner just says any and everything he's going to say.
Well, I mean I just don't think that Jerry. This is Jerry's team. He don't care who's up there.
No,
you know what I'm saying? So he wants. I don't think he wants him there anyway. So I mean, does he? Do you think that thing will change once Sean becomes a coach?
No. Well, if Sean better be smart about this. I know he's got a house in Dallas and he likes the idea of it, but you better know what you're getting yourself into.
I was just going to say, I think Jerry might alter his stance with a coach of Sean Payton's pedigree in terms of how he approaches talking to the media. I think he would respect Sean enough to collaborate with him. Some, not much, before he stepped forward.
He did it a little bit with Parcells. I'm talking about after Jimmy Johnson. He did it a little bit with Parcells, but then that went away real fast with Jason Garrett. So, and he's clearly not doing it with Mike McCarthy either.
No.
All right, Derek, you brought up Washington. Good win for them. Carson throws for 4. He did have 2 picks on consecutive plays.
Yep.
But they were able to recover. It was kind of a back and forth game. It was a pretty. I was keeping my eye on it pretty closely as I'm watching the Eagles and whatnot.
Right.
You know, entertaining game. You know, for sure. So they win. It is over the Jags, who were, you know, bottom feeder team last year. But I think the Jags are going to be better. You posed the question, should you be concerned with them? I think Washington's interesting. And if Wentz can play decent football, there's talent there for sure.
Yep.
Like Dotson had one yesterday. They
That dude's gonna be legit.
Yeah, he's really good, and they have McLaurin, they got some players, man.
Curtis Samuel, Logan Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they JD McKissick, they got some good players back there. Good defensive front. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination Washington's going to win the division, but I think Washington is that team to keep an eye on. Now that Dallas is definitely falling by the wayside. We keep talking about Dallas Eagles. We've spoken very little. We've mentioned it, but we've spoken very little about Washington lurking in the shadows.
Here's what's going to be really interesting. Washington plays at Detroit next week.
Yep.
I want to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Like if Detroit beats them or it's super tight, maybe you say, hey, Detroit's a lot better than we thought, right? But if Washington goes in there and handles them, then all of a sudden you're saying to yourself, okay. That's a reflection of the Eagles. It's a reflection of maybe Washington's better than we thought. So, yeah, going to be interesting to see what happens.
I think that Detroit beats them. In all actuality, I
do. Okay.
Yeah, I really think that Detroit beats them. The amount of pressure they were able to put on our offensive line, and they're going in against the Commanders, and we know how Carson's going to react under pressure.
Yeah.
Right.
With that, the kind of heat that Hurts saw yesterday, if they can, get
generate that.
Yeah, Carson's going to make some mistakes.
Mm-hmm. A lot of mistakes. This is going to be a great game to watch, man. We didn't even think this would be a good game.
No.
We didn't even talk about it when we went through it.
I was with Barrett 100% last week when I had my suspicions about Aaron Glenn as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn impressed me coming out of the gate because normally teams that blitz that much early, they're just trying to set a tempo early.
Yes.
And then you back off. When you find out a guy like A.J. Brown is killing you underneath on the slant routes, you back out. He didn't back out one iota that whole game. And if that's his MO, for entire season, that defense is going to win Detroit a few games this year.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Agreed. All right. So this one was amazing. So the Giants end up upsetting the Titans in Tennessee 21-20 in a game where the Giants score late, and with 1:06 left, Brian Dable decides, you know what? We're not going to kick the extra point. We're just going to tie this thing up and hope our defense can hold when we get to overtime. We're going to go for it here. So they go for two. A little underhand pass, or was it underhand pass? I think it was to Saquon.
A shovel pass to Saquon.
Saquon breaks a tackle, gets in. They go 21-20. So the whole time leading up, as that drive's unfolding, Dable walks over to his defensive players and says, hey, we score. I'm going for two. You guys cool with that? And they're all like, yeah, do it.
Wow.
Yeah. You want to talk about a way to get your guys to buy in?
Absolutely.
And grow a culture? That's how you do it. He's letting his guy call the plays. Dable's over there like, what do you guys think? And they're all like, you're really going to do it? Yeah, do it. To a man, like 4 or 5 of them, I can't use the language. We're like, bleep, yeah, go for it. And they score, and they do get fortunate because Tennessee misses a long field goal, but whatever. That's a ballsy move, man, by a head coach in his first game.
Yeah, I was watching Dable's post game, and he said, I told these guys in training camp, I'm going to be aggressive. Now you're thinking, this is a Giants team that's decimated by injuries on the offensive line. Their top 2 edge rushers are out, and you're just trying to hang on for dear life to play with the likes of a physical team like Tennessee. And all of a sudden, you go for it in that situation. Instead of taking the tie, you go for everything because, hey, I'm here to change the culture. Like Rob said, do you know what that does for team morale and support and belief in your head coach to do something like that? And here's what's most impressive to me. Tennessee is a good defensive team, very physical defensive team. Saquon Barkley had 164 yards rushing on 18 carries against that defense.
Yeah.
With a patched up offensive line.
He might be back.
I mean, think about it. They were down, 4 or 5 offensive linemen?
Yeah, they were. They were the most banged up team going into week 1.
And he gets 164 on that defense?
Yeah. And Daniel Jones had the one awful pick, but he was He was okay. Like he was okay. I'm not a fan. Okay. But maybe Dable's going to get the best out of him to make him serviceable.
Outside of Mahomes, was there a starting quarterback that did not throw at least Mahomes and Jalen Hurts? You see how many quarterbacks threw a pick in the first game yesterday?
Did Herbert? I don't remember. Did Herbert? He was really good. I didn't see if he threw a pick though.
I don't think he did.
No, he had 3 touchdowns, no picks. So that's 3 we know of for sure.
He's ridiculous, but that's
for 279, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He was 26 for 34.
Yeah, he threw a back shoulder that was a work of art, but that's that guy spins it. It's just different. So yeah, I mean that's the NFC East. So the Cowboys go down and they lose Dak. I mean that's just a disastrous opener. The Eagles survive, whatever we want to call it. They win. Bottom line, they win on the road. On the road in the NFL, winning is not an easy thing. They win.
Absolutely not.
Giants do the same in crazy fashion. And Washington, Washington did what they should have done. I guess they beat the Jaguars at home. But if you're Washington, you're feeling good about Wentz. You are. I know he had the 2 picks mixed in, but you're feeling pretty good about it.
And they came from behind and won that game, didn't they?
Right. Well, when the Jags took a lead, it was back. It was a back and forth kind of game.
So all 3 teams in the East survived, are under the survive category.
Other than Dallas, right?
Yeah, other than that. There are 3 winners in the NFC East. Yeah.
No teams won in the AFC South. You had a tie and losses.
That's crazy.
How about that one? Yeah. So speaking of, there's a lot of upsets yesterday. I mean, you had the Steelers beat the Bengals. You had the Texans and the Colts a tie. You'd call that an upset, that the Colts didn't win the game over the Texans. The Bears in the pouring rain, which we mentioned a little bit earlier. So, that's another one. I know some of it you got to throw out the window. By the way, Chicago's a disgrace that those guys were playing in that quagmire. That field couldn't drain anything.
No,
why they're trying to leave now.
They had squeegees out before the game, rolling. Now every field has a drainage system now.
That's what I love about what Green Bay did a long time ago. They put in this drainage system. You ever look at Green Bay, even when they're playing on there's no mud spots on the field because of the drainage system. In Chicago. Now, what if you had a monsoon rain like that, let's say late November, early December, all of a sudden the temperature changed into 20 and 30s. Guys are out there skating. Playing on ice.
Yeah.
Are you putting your players in that kind of jeopardy?
Yeah. I know. No wonder they want to get to the furthest suburb.
Oh, yeah.
Derek. And you know what I mean?
And get a dome stadium.
Yeah. If there's ever a poster for why we want to get out of here, go, look at that. Look at that disaster.
Basically, the Bears organization told the city of Chicago, you had your chance.
Yeah.
We tried to negotiate with you. You thought we were bluffing. And now we're moving 25 miles outside of the city.
Yeah.
So all of that business that generated from Bears games, the restaurants, the gift shops, all that's going to dry up on game day in a few years.
Mm-hmm.
It's your fault, not ours.
Yeah.
We try to keep it here. You don't want to negotiate. Same way with Oakland. How many times did they stonewall the Raiders? That city stonewall the Raiders. Oh, they'll never leave
forever.
Oakland.
That was 20, 30 years of that.
Oh, my goodness. The team moved to Los Angeles, moved back to Oakland. Hey, for 20 years, we've been trying to get a stadium. Yeah. All right, you know what? Vegas is rolling out the red carpet for us. Oh, they'll never go to Vegas. Huh? Really? Okay.
Well,
so where are we at now?
Regarding that game for you guys, how much do you take away from it? Is it just, man, they were playing in just a cesspool, like it was just a disaster? Or, San Francisco's got some issues here with this sort of learning on the job thing with Lance.
Well, that's what it is. Yeah. Both teams played in the same conditions.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like you can discount either one. Because both quarterbacks had to go out there and play, same age quarterbacks. They just and the Bears were able to get through it, and San Fran isn't. I think San Fran's more of the problem, more than anything.
Your quarterback for the Bears. First of all, the Bears didn't score a point until the third quarter. They had no points.
Right.
Your quarterback completed 8 passes, but 2 of them were for touchdowns.
Right. For a $121.
For $121. And one of the touchdowns he threw was an unbelievable play where he pirouettes away from the pressure to this side of the field, throws it back across the field, wide receiver standing. Nobody's within 20 yards of him.
Right.
He's over there fielding a punt and strolls into the end zone.
And that was the Pettis one, right? I think it was that one.
Yeah. But nobody on God's green earth picked the Bears to beat the 49ers. You know what that does for morale right out of the gate?
Exactly.
With a new head coach.
New head coach. Allegedly, no help at wide receiver. The running back situation is dinged, and they win that game by 9 points against a team many people pick to get to the playoffs.
Absolutely.
That's an incredible morale builder right there.
Absolutely. No question about it. All right, let's go to the Vikings and the Packers here. Derek, I know. Did you get a text from Marvin? Were you getting Marvin yesterday?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Marvin Gunn, noted Vikings fan.
Okay, Green Bay last year lost the first game 41-3 or something like that. Okay. Hold up. Let me go back.
They also had Devontae Adams last year.
They also had Devontae Adams. Okay. On Friday, when we picked games, you two were shocked when I picked Minnesota to win this game, right?
Yes, I was.
I picked them too, but I was shocked when you did it. Yes.
I picked Minnesota. I tell you, I'm a realist, man. Whether you're a fan, I'm a realist.
What made you think that they were going to lose to Minnesota?
Because Rodgers had no game experience with these young group of receivers. Okay. First offensive play, here's what told me. It was a telling tale. First offensive play, Aaron Rodgers airs it out to that second-round pick, Christian Watson. Should have been a 75-yard touchdown.
Perfect throw.
He dropped the ball.
Yep.
Okay, guess what? He wasn't targeted again until the fourth quarter.
Right.
This kid, Romeo Doubs, who we've been raving about his speed and everything, one play he's on a miscommunication with Rodgers, and Rodgers threw it one place he wasn't there. He didn't get another target until the third quarter. After the game, Aaron Rodgers very nonchalantly, like he said last year, you know what? You got to give us space. We got patience. And even Rodgers said, I made some throws, and I didn't make some throws that I should have made. He said, give us patience. They said the same thing last year, went on to win 13 games, right? They'll figure it out.
Yeah.
They lost the game to Minnesota last year. They lost their first game to Minnesota and came back and trashed them the last game of the season. I don't think Kirk Cousins played that last game, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I mean, look, Derek,
they'll figure it out.
Here's what it's a matter of for me. How quickly do the young kids get adjusted, and how much patience?
There you go.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Rodgers is going to be out of his mind by like week 3 with these guys. Even yesterday he's sitting there like
he'll be in a room with padded walls if they don't.
Okay, so basically it's a similar situation to the Eagles.
Yeah.
Green Bay starters didn't play in the preseason. You have no experience with Sammy Watkins, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, Alan Lazard is top player. Who Rodgers called the next Devontae Adams, didn't even play.
Yeah.
He was out.
Yeah, he was. No,
and I told my brother, I said, really? I said, I've been waiting for your text. I said, here's what I'm going to say to you. Kirk Cousins is your quarterback, number one. Green Bay's won a division 3 years in a row. Aaron Rodgers said, just give us time. I said, I'll bank my money on Aaron Rodgers saying, give us time. Morrison, I'll bank it on your team, which finds a way to lose big games.
Although I think Minnesota's a little scary, guys.
I do too, but I'm not telling my brother that.
You can't admit that to Marvin.
I'm not going to tell him that.
Yeah, you can't tell him that. You're right.
Ain't nothing scary about Cleveland, dog.
but here's you're safe with Philip. Okay,
you're right. Exactly.
You're good. Yeah. Even though they did win yesterday, I think you're still safe.
That was the trash of the trashiest game.
Yeah, it was. But real quick, Justin Jefferson. I mean, 9 catches, 184 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Woo!
He is a monster.
Woo! What did he say? I'm going to be the best receiver in 2022.
Yeah. Yep.
Woo,
it ain't bragging if you can back it up.
No, it ain't, man. And that dude, you talk about athletic,
he's a bad man.
Acrobatic, physical.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so looking forward to this matchup. Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Darius Slade, James Bradbury. I'm so looking forward to that matchup on Monday night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a
fun to watch.
It is. It's going to be fun. Dalvin Cook had a good game, 20 rushes, 90 yards. Cousins very efficient, didn't turn it over. 23 of 32, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns against, a good Green Bay defense. But, and they did a really good job. I know it's a lot of kids out there, but on Rodgers, Rodgers threw a pick, only had 195 yards passing, and had a 67.7 passer rating. You don't often see that with Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So the defense showed up too.
Aaron better leave that peyote alone and get in focus. That's whatever that special peyote is.
Haircut. Leave it alone. Did you see the haircut? It's kind of I don't know what's going on there.
Did you see the commercial though? The commercial with him
there's like 2 of them. 2 of them.
Yeah. This is my
with Jake, the State Farm guy. Jake.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Jake, man. I need him. I'm getting Jake fatigue. I got to tell you.
A little less Jake will be good for me, bro.
So they end up winning, and that's who the Eagles get next. Cowboys lose Dak Prescott. He will, unless there's some kind of miracle, not be back for that Week 6 game against the Birds. They're projecting 6 to 8 weeks with that surgery. Before we get to, we'll dig into Pittsburgh a little bit heavier, but I just wanted his injury. TJ Watt tears the pec. He had a sack and an interception. Then he tore the pec. They're saying it may not be as bad as initially thought. Could be in the neighborhood of a month because it's not a complete tear of the pec. His brother, JJ, had that too, but I think he had a full tear and ended up coming back for the very end of the season.
Yep.
For whatever it's worth.
That just comes from, I guess, cycling. No, just playing. Just playing.
Okay, Barry Bonds. All right, I got you.
Barry Bonds.
I hear you. All right, so when we come back, we'll look at what went on with a bunch of the other games of note. Some good, some bad. I mean, the AFC West, nice battle between the Chargers and the Raiders, the Chiefs and the Cardinals. Mentioned the Mayfield revenge game, quote unquote, against the Browns, and the Saints had to have a furious comeback to knock the Falcons off. So we'll do a lot more there with the NFL. A little later, we'll get into the Phillies, who got a sweep. Phillies, it was just a 3-hour and 36-minute rain delay. I mean, who
that's
cares?
all.
Yeah,
that's all.
Not a big deal. Game ended at like midnight. It was supposed to start at 1:00. It's all good. But they get the sweep. We had a major firing in college football. We'll try and sneak in some birthday. I actually have a good on this date for you guys, which we'll try and get into as well. We'll do all of that when we come back. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk a little Flynn Tree Services. Yes, Flynn Tree Services is an experienced, licensed, and insured Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face. So do you have any type of issues in your yard or your property? If you do, they're just a quick phone call away. They are experts at trimming all types of trees and serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. Keep in mind, this time of year, we're getting some crazy storms. If you live in the greater Philadelphia area, we've been getting a lot of rain and some lot of wind, that kind of stuff. Hurricane season as well coming up. Now's a great time to have your trees evaluated. Make sure that they're not too old, good to go. They're not going to fall on anybody or your property or your house. You go to their Facebook page or Instagram for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-2848, 610-850-2848, or online at flynntreeservices.com. That's flynntreeservices.com.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
Welcome to Pond Lehocky, the largest workers' compensation law firm in Pennsylvania. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured and disabled workers obtain benefits, as well as some of the biggest settlements in the state. Even better, Pond Lehocky doesn't charge a dime until you win. If you've been injured at work, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the game. Go for the hits. Go for the fans. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Sports Take on this Monday. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a great weekend. Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis. We are recapping the Eagles' 38-35 win over the Lions in Detroit. And, you know, it is funny the way that you can look at things, right? So on one hand, you say to yourself, man, they won. They won on the road in a game where they didn't play their best football against a team that was jacked up like it was a Super Bowl. You can look at it from that perspective. The other perspective is you saw some things that were kind of troubling. There were some questions going in about the approach from a defensive standpoint with the coordinator that really haven't been resolved. There's some things you scratch your head at. When Jordan Davis was in there, they were much better against the run. When he wasn't, they weren't. Why didn't you just stay with more Jordan Davis? The offensive line had a tough time handling the blitz. Did you do enough to counter that? You know, on the offensive side, you question some of the coaching. Jalen showed you unbelievable ability to get out of jams and trouble and keep plays alive and keep hope alive and do just enough to get a win. But there are times where you're saying maybe there's something lacking a little bit in the passing game. A.J. Brown goes crazy, but Devontae Smith doesn't get a catch. There's such a yin and yang here with this, and it's only natural. It's the ultimate overreaction day is the day after the first game. It's the ultimate overreaction. Everything depends on your perspective. You're muted there.
But isn't that what we expect in this area?
Amen. I don't want it any other way.
I'm looking at social media comments, people responding to some of the things that we've said, people on the chat here responding to some of the things we said. And I'm at a point where I'm going to stop looking at social media and looking at the chat and just do what we do. Just do what we do. You can't please everybody. You know, some people agree with you. Some people disagree with you. And I love some of the insights people give, perspectives they give that we haven't talked about as well. But for the most part, you know, it's our opinions, right?
Well, look, everything's
right,
subjective.
Wrong, or indifferent.
Right? Yeah, everything's subjective. And I think at times opinions are clouded in.
I thought you were going to say something else. Opinions are like.
Or like something else. Everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one, yeah.
Look, my mom just got through telling me I better stop cussing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, because you said one word that even made me a little uncomfortable.
Barrett's going to be grounded. We don't need Barrett grounded.
I was a little fired up, and I apologize, Mom.
Hey, we like the passion, man. I
said the F word, and she was mad.
It was in the spur of the moment. It was okay.
Yes, Barrett, but you must show a better restraint.
Yes.
When debating and arguing.
Well, you gotta understand. I'm just saying. I'm 2 hours. I'm 4 hours into this now. I'm 4 hours into this.
You did double duty. So you were on Birds 365 too, right?
Yeah. You know, I did that show. You know, I was on with Jody Mack, and Jody Mack was fired up the entire time.
What was Jody's take?
Well, Jody's take that he didn't want to hear anything I was talking about as far as the defense. He wants the tar and feather Jonathan Gannon.
Okay.
And he didn't want to hear nothing I was talking about.
As I mentioned earlier, the GAN wagon is in for some maintenance. It was not a great week for the GAN wagon, but I'm still driving the GAN wagon. If you guys want to jump on,
well,
I think he's going to bounce back strong this week.
He better bounce back. You know, what I'm saying? Just like Temple better bounce back. Let's get that's what we need. Let's get on your Temple hour. We gonna wait till
they won.
Yeah, they won, but they were playing Lafayette, bro.
I know.
Not the Lafayette in Lafayette, Louisiana, the Lafayette in Pennsylvania.
In Pennsylvania.
Hey, Barrett, Dad's deal says, just remember, Jesus loves you.
Right, there you go.
Yes,
I know.
And we do too.
But I got Temple again this next week.
Well, how about Kurt Warner's son jumps in there and throws a couple touchdown passes?
Yeah, there you go.
That, boom.
Gripping and ripping. He started
wearing number 13 like his dad did too. It was
Yep. So his dad turns around and puts on social media. He's at the wrong game. He was actually at the Kansas State game. And where does his oldest son play?
Kansas
State University.
Yeah.
A wide receiver. He said, I'm at the wrong Warner's game.
Is that what he said? Yeah. It's a good line. But no, the reason I mentioned that is, and look, there is going to be opinions are going to be clouded sometimes by your ties to a team, and that kind of stuff, and everything's going to change. But the thing that I don't jive with is, how can you guys react to just one game? That's what we do. We react in the moment. We're going to react to one game, or else we wouldn't have a show. If Barrett, Derek, and I came out and said, we're going to wait till like week 12 to have an opinion, we would be fired. Right? So we're going to react. Yeah. But anyway, I like any game, there were positives, there were negatives, but we're going to see things unfold as the season goes along. I will say this, offensively, this is going to be a much sterner test, this Vikings team, than what we got in Detroit yesterday. That's for sure. So they're going to have to tighten some things up. Jonathan Gannon's got to tighten things up, and don't let the players off the hook. Do not. Do not.
Just looking at this, Wes Phillips, offensive coordinator for Minnesota.
Right. Bum Phillips, grandson, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
All I know is this. When you look at the offense and how Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford played last year, how they got that chemistry together, how you always see Cooper Kupp, it's like he's running free. How the heck does this guy always end up open? And he was the best receiver in football last year.
Mm-hmm.
How? Well, Wes Phillips was the orchestrator in that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So fast forward to now. You see how wide open?
I'm glad you said that.
Great point.
I mean, he's just by himself. How do you get players wide open like that? Wes Phillips is the orchestrator of that. So
not only that, B. Brooks, but an offensive line that gives you time.
Oh my goodness. So I'm sitting there like, how is Justin Jefferson, who we know what did he have, like almost 18? Well, I think he had like 1,400 yards.
Yeah, I mean, you got to stop him, right? Going into that game at all costs. Yeah.
And he's still running wide open. I don't know what he's doing to get these guys to game plan these guys to get wide open like that, but he's definitely, going along the same path as Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm. So
how do you contain that? There's gonna be a lot of sleepless nights this next week.
There is, Barrett, but here's
Justin
the thing.
Jefferson.
There's and I'm not saying the Packers don't have defensive talent. They obviously do. But I'm just speaking individually for the Eagles. There's too much talent for them to look the way they looked yesterday.
Yep.
There just is.
Yep.
So either the players aren't showing up or the coach isn't coaching them up right. They're preparing
one of the two
or in game, or both. Yeah, you can have both answers, but there's a disconnect somewhere, and they got to be better. I mean, Detroit 181 yards on the ground? No, it can't happen.
And it wasn't a quarterback doing it.
Right.
It's guys 5 to 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and an offensive line that was trapping the heck out of that Eagles D line yesterday.
Absolutely. Man. Absolutely. All right. So some other games of note. You had the Chiefs beating the Cardinals, and for all the people out there that thought, hey, Tyreek Hill's gone, man. Wait do you see this Chiefs offense kind of fall off? Not so fast, my friend.
And you don't need a defense when you got an offense scoring like that.
Yeah.
What did I tell you? No, we were debating the Raiders versus the Chiefs winning the division. What did I tell you? The Chiefs are that one offense. Their defense can be mediocre, but their offense puts so much stress on an opposition, they accidentally score 35 points a game.
Yeah.
They score in crazy ways.
You want to hear crazy efficient numbers? Here's Mahomes. 30 of 39, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks, 94.1 QBR, 144.2 passer rating. And he wasn't sacked, by the way.
Nope.
Okay. 39 dropbacks, wasn't sacked. He was machine. Like he threw one, guys, and it wasn't a touchdown, although Kelsey did have a touchdown. But one of his throws to Kelsey was absolute perfection.
Absolutely.
It's dropped in the bucket. Like you can't throw it better. I'm telling you, he is a joy to watch, man. Mahomes.
You don't think Mahomes and that offense are thinking we're out to show people we are more than Tyreek Hill?
100% they are, Derek. Yep.
And look at who he's throwing to. Juju Smith-Schuster, Marcus Valdez-Scantling. The boy stepped up.
Isaiah Pacheco, 12 catches, 62 yards.
I said, is that a hockey player or is that a football player?
Isaiah Pacheco out of Rutgers. 7th rounder this year. 251st pick.
I heard that name. I'm checking hockey rosters, man.
I'm telling you. I remember Ferdy Pacheco, the fight doctor.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That was my first thought. I'm sorry, that was his rushing number. That was his rushing numbers, not receiving. I said rush. I said receive. But yeah, I mean, Kelsey did his thing. Juju was good. Scantling was decent. 4 catches, 44 yards. Yeah, I mean, they're just that offense is just it's an assembly line. It's a machine. It's a machine. Amazing.
It's more than just the individuals. It's the system.
Yeah.
Eric Bieniemy's system. You plug and play.
Yep.
You step in that offense, you're going to have instant success, obviously, because of the quarterback. But it shows you that you can plug and play in that offense and still keep that train moving.
Yeah. It was an impressive win, 44-21 over the Cardinals for the Chiefs. Great matchup. Stay in the AFC West for a minute here. The Chargers beat the Raiders in what was a really good game. And, excellent quarterback play by Herbert. Carr made some mistakes in that one, which hurt them. But it was nonetheless, it was a fun game. One we kind of anticipated was going to be one of the better games of the week, and it was. It was a quality matchup, man.
Carr said I was too aggressive. Well, okay, I understand. First game, you want to.
And Adams was excellent, by the way.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Yes.
But I still stand by what I say. I didn't think the Raiders would win that division. I still don't. I know it's one game. I still don't. I like Derek Carr, but I've never been a huge Derek Carr fan.
Yeah. I'm the same way, Derek. Like, I don't think he's elite. I think he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
But I just it was impressive. Like when you watch,
elite, but he just played horrible yesterday, and it didn't help the way they were rushing the passer on him, man. I mean, those 2 bookends.
Oh,
come
on,
on,
my
man.
goodness.
5 sacks,
you expect, man. Yeah, what'd you expect, man? With the Bosa and
Khalil Mack,
Mack coming off the corners.
Khalil had what, 3 sacks?
Khalil had 3. They sent the house a couple. Derwin James had 1. Bosa had a sack and a half. Morgan Fox had a half a sack. Yeah, I mean Chargers are no joke. I mean they're gonna be tough. They're gonna be tough for sure. So they win. Saints have to come back to beat the Falcons. Didn't see that one. I thought New Orleans would handle their business against Atlanta. Not a great Atlanta team, but they came back to win it. Jameis did a nice job driving him back too in that game.
What did he finish with?
He was his numbers are actually pretty good. He was 23 of 34, 269 yards. He didn't throw a pick. He had 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 4 times. But he had a 111 passer rating. So he wasn't bad.
How about Taysom Hill? 4 carries, 81 yards rushing.
Yeah.
And a touchdown.
Didn't
they move him to tight end, I thought?
They use him as like an H-back, like an old school H-back. But yeah, he was good.
That's that Pete Carmichael offense.
Yeah, he was good, for sure. And they Jarvis Landry in his debut had 114 yards receiving and a 16.3 average. Plus they have Michael Thomas and they have Olave. There's a lot of talent. If Jameis Winston's going to play the way he played yesterday, New Orleans will not be an easy team to take down.
Michael Thomas had 2 touchdown catches, I believe it was.
Yeah, man. They're scary.
Can somebody explain how Alvin Kamara played?
Yeah, really. I didn't expect to see him on the field. He played.
But isn't this like typical NFL? These things take forever.
They're going to wait till the middle of the season. Yeah, they're going to wait till the middle of the season, man, and sit that dude down. When he should have done whatever his suspension is, 2, 4, 6 games, he should have started now.
Yeah.
Why would you wait?
New Orleans would welcome that. Like, please do it now.
Yes.
Let's get it over with.
You have all the evidence you need. What are you doing?
I don't get it. I can't stand that about the NFL, but yeah, I agree with you guys. It's like, what is it? Run through a few here. Ravens rolled the Jets. Lamar was really good. I guess that's not a shock in that one. The Baker Mayfield revenge game, not so much. The Browns win 26-24 in that one. Here's what's a weird one for me in that game, guys. Christian McCaffrey gets 14 touches in the game, 10 rushes, and 4 receptions.
Yeah.
Wait,
he should have had 25 touches minimum.
It's not the preseason. You're not afraid to get it. You got to play him. If he gets hurt, he gets hurt.
Well, that's what they're thinking, though. You know what I'm saying? And I understand their way of thinking because, remember before he got hurt, that dude was like never coming off the field. They had him doing ridiculous.
Yeah. 300 touches a season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But once he hit that injury bug, maybe they're trying to protect him. I don't know. But you're going to protect him at the cost of possibly winning a game?
Yeah. It's not like you were down big. I don't know. It was weird. And Mayfield had kind of a Mayfield game. 16 of 27, 235 yards. He had a touchdown and a pick. And he ran around a little bit and made some plays, but ultimately it wasn't good enough.
You know that hurt Baker a lot too, man. You can see it in his face, man.
Yeah.
He wanted that game so bad. Yeah,
he wanted cry when he gets to the tunnel.
Yeah.
He's gonna cry when he gets to the tunnel. He cried when he got to the tunnel. You believe
other games than that that we haven't covered yet. This one, I haven't heard any update on Mac Jones' back, but Mac Jones hurts his back.
Yeah.
Went for x-rays. They didn't make him available, and he didn't travel that night getting out of Miami back to New England. So if we get any updates, we'll pass it along. But, Dolphins take care of business 20-7 over New England. New England, it kind of looked like it's looked in the preseason for the Patriots. We keep waiting for them to flip a switch because it's Belichick. And I don't know if there's a flip to be switched.
You got Matt Patricia calling plays.
Right. But I'm just saying this. Even on the Dolphins side of the ball, they couldn't run the ball for anything, though.
No.
Yeah.
The defense bailed them out.
Yeah, they did.
Their defense is pretty good. I'm still not sold on Tua. Still. You still got to convince me with Tua. I'm not there.
He's getting there just enough that when they do get it, they can make something happen with it.
Yeah, there were a couple where Hill made the play on it. It was definitely a little bit underthrown.
Yeah.
I will say this, he spread the wealth around nicely. Tyreek Hill has 8 catches, Waddle had 4, Chase Edmonds had 4, Cedric Wilson had 2. They spread it around decently. They had no rushing attack. Their leading rusher had 25 yards, Miami, and they were still able to cruise, pretty handily. New England didn't run it or really throw it all that well. They didn't really do anything well in the game. Frankly, Nelson Aguilar had a fumble. Mac Jones had a fumble. It really was just a kind of lackluster performance for the Patriots. Are we maybe seeing? Let me ask you guys this: are we seeing maybe something similar with Belichick that we saw with Greg Popovich? When Popovich finally lost, Tim Duncan and Ginobili and Parker and that crew, all of a sudden he wasn't the genius anymore.
Human,
right?
Very
Brady, and I know I know they win 10 games last year, whatever it was with Mac Jones, but is there a little bit of that? Hey, Tom Terrific's not here anymore. Maybe Bill's not as much.
It's a lot of that. It's a lot of that, man. Yes, he's a great coach, but it doesn't matter if you're a great coach if you don't have the horses to go out there and execute.
That's right.
Trying to execute, man.
That's right.
You say what you want to say, and I knew this was going to be a point where he was going to be like, all right, well, what am I going to do now? He had to go like, what am I going to do now? I've lost my head honcho. I'm trying to make something out of nothing. With the you can't expect Mac Jones to be anything close to the greatest of all time.
Well, here's where I think that he's really making a big mistake, guys. Brady, other than the Moss years, and granted, he always had like Edelman and Welker and those kind of guys, but it felt like and he had Gronk, but they never gave him a ton on the outside. But because he was Brady, it didn't matter. He would just zip it around everybody. Mac Jones needs a stud.
Yes.
He needs a stud, man.
And he needs more than one. He needs more than one.
Bro, talking about equal distribution. Jacoby Myers had 4 receptions. Kendrick Bourne, 1 reception. Jonah Smith, 3 receptions. Nelson Aguilar, 3 receptions. Hunter Henry, 2 receptions. Ty Montgomery, 3 receptions. Damian Harris, 2 receptions. Devontae Parker, 1. It's crazy. It was well distributed. Nobody really jumped out as far as, numbers 55, 44, 41, 33, 28, 20, 15, 10, but you're not winning it. You're not pushing the ball down the field. You're not having impact plays.
Yeah.
No.
All that means nothing when you're not, when it's not working, man.
Yeah.
And only person that could do that really and nickel and dime you and distribute it like that, distribute the ball like that is a Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But see, Devontae Parker has the ability to be that go-to receiver.
Yes.
But you got to learn how to. I mean, when he played Miami, that dude was legit.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be able to utilize him. I mean, you got to feed that dude the ball 10, 15 times a game minimum.
Right.
And then everything else falls in place because when a defense starts to converge on him, you have two great tight ends. You have decent second-tier receivers like an Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
But he should be your go-to guy.
You're absolutely right.
Agreed. Yeah, I agree, Derek, 100%. All right, so discussed a lot of the Eagles. We'll continue to discuss the Eagles as well, and of course the injuries around the league. The big one is Dak Prescott with the thumb surgery, out 6 to 8 weeks. TJ Watt, we're waiting to hear on the severity of the torn pec. Mac Jones, X-ray on his back. I think that's kind of the headline injuries. Any other ones I'm missing here?
No, there's been a bunch that have come down today, but no name that really jumps out at you. Still waiting to hear on Derek Barnett's situation for the Eagles with the knee issue. Trying to see if there was anything that came across that we missed.
Yeah, that's right. And it was a non-contact for Barnett.
Right.
Those are always the ones you're like, oof. Fletcher Cox hurt his knee, but he went to the tent, but he came back in. He finished the game. I can't think of anything else yesterday Eagle-wise other than those two.
No. Let's see here. Am I missing one?
Yeah, once again, I still want to go back to, how the secondary played, with Marcus Epps and
go ahead, Beck.
Those two played phenomenally, man.
The
especially not playing.
You Epps and CGJ.
Yeah, and without playing with each other, not having that chemistry yet.
Yeah,
those two came up amazing. But Marcus Epps was everywhere, making plays, man. So I knew he was going to be our best safety, but I know he's going to be that good. So kudos to them for relying on him and letting him be great, man.
He was flying. That dude was flying.
He was. And kudos to Chauncey and the coaching staff for getting him up to speed pretty quick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I thought that there will be no way that this kid can go out there and play safety with the amount of information you have to play with the safety position. He's been a nickel corner, for probably the majority of his career. And yes, there is some carryover from, nickel corner to safety, but still though, for him to pick it up like that, and it wasn't like he was lost, it wasn't like he was lost either. He played, man. I was surprised.
Yeah, that's all right. So let's glean positives here. So that's definitely one of them, right? On that side of the ball, for sure. You had the Bradbury pick 6 with the Kaiser tip. I thought Slay played really well. I know he got beat on that one. That was a perfect throw by Goff.
Yeah, it was. He dropped that
shots
dime.
at Goff. He dropped that in the bucket, man.
Yeah, he did. And Slay turned around just a fraction of a second too late. But I thought Slay had a good game.
Yep.
I thought Kazir White played a pretty good game for him. For the most part. But speed, played downhill. Let's see who else.
On that side of the ball. That's the problem. I wish there was a lot more that stood out.
Johnson.
I thought Jordan Davis, when he was in there, made an impact.
Yes, you're right.
And
in the run, he played
in the run.
Yeah, he played on the other side of the line of scrimmage in run plays. He pressed this guy back, and that's what That's what we're expecting from him. That's what he has to do. We just didn't give him a lot of opportunities, especially at the beginning of the game, to really go out there and execute that.
Right.
I've been telling for the longest, the Achilles heel of this defense is the lack of production on first down. They just don't play well on first down. Hence, that's why they're always in 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, 2nd and 5, as opposed to being 3rd and 3, 2nd and 10, 3rd and 12. Teams are so successful on first down that second down is like take candy from a baby. It's so easy because you don't have far to go. You have a huge playbook when you can have all those plays when you when you've had that much success on first down.
Mm-hmm.
It's not until you get into 3rd and 10, those opportunities where, you know, that playbook gets the smaller and smaller when the farther you get from the line of scrimmage. So, I mean, to me, when they had the most success is when they played well on first down. If they got up there, it was usually a scoring drive, you know, after the first down. It's usually a scoring drive after that.
Mm.
All right, then you go to the other side. You know, let me go special teams for a minute. There wasn't a whole lot of opportunity.
For what?
Yeah, I mean, like it was a lot of fair catches. I'll give Covey this. He did get hit by his own guy and still fielded it clean. It was not an easy play.
That could have been huge, man.
Could have been a mess.
Man.
It could have been a mess. So
great concentration by him.
You know, it's interesting. I was listening to a lot of the radio broadcasts with Merrill and Mike on WIP, and Merrill very critical of Quez Watkins as a kick returner, which I thought was interesting. You know, basically saying, look, this guy's got great straight line speed, but you don't see it in any way, shape, or form on these kick returns. He just has no feel for it, and he's not wrong. You know, Covey might be returning kicks before you know it.
When you talk about a kick returner, straight ahead speed is fine, but you have to be able to use deception back there to find a lane, to create a lane for yourself a lot of times. And the few times that Quez fielded the ball, and he was just running straight. He wasn't looking for open. He was just running, but he's got to be able to add that to his repertoire. You know, the best kick returners in a game have that ability to start one way and cut back the next to make the flow go one way, to open up your own seam.
Yep.
I haven't seen that. Maybe it's because he hasn't done it enough.
Yeah, maybe he's still learning it. Hey,
still green at it. Yeah,
very green for sure. The Mac Jones, they think it may have just been back spasms, no fracture or anything there. According to Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, they think he may actually play this week. So that could have been a lot worse for New England if that's what it is. So I wanted to update you on that. Now go to the other side of the ball for sure. Miles Sanders stands out.
Yeah.
AJ Brown gets the 4 stars of the game. And I think all in all, well, let me, if I had to have you guys summarize maybe in a sentence or a word, Jalen Hurts Day, how would you sum it up? Efficient?
Yes.
Okay.
In one word,
efficient. That's an accurate word. I would say efficient.
I'd say playmaker.
If you asked me to give him a grade, I'd give him a B+.
Yeah.
Easy a B+.
It could have been disastrous if you had a different quarterback back there.
That dude had to run for his life, man. A lot of times he had no choice. By the time he set his feet, pressure was converging on him. He stepped up, found a hole, took off, and frustrated the heck out of that defense.
Yep.
You know, they sent pressure up the middle. They sent pressure off the edge. A couple of times he ducked under, dude. I thought he had him behind the line of scrimmage. He ducked under him and took off.
Yeah.
And then he was smart enough to throw the ball away, to not take the sack, and put them in a second or third longer situation.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, look, Dank says productive. I would agree with all that. You know, are there still things you need to see more in the passing game?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. You do. But yeah, I mean, that and the debut of AJ Brown, it's a shame it's sort of overshadowed by some of the things you're frustrated with, because we haven't seen a whole lot of better debuts as an Eagle.
So you guys are thinking that he should you guys are thinking Hurts should be what?
I'd like to see a little bit more accuracy on certain throws, Barry. Like, you're not going to be perfect every game. Everybody's missing throws. I'm not saying that. There's still a little bit of and some of those things he had no choice. He had no time. But there were a couple times where I would like to have seen him just kind of hold his ground a little bit longer in the pocket. But I really don't. My beef is with a million other things before I get to Hurts personally.
Right.
It's both. It's the offensive line in pass protection, and it's the defensive line generally, but especially against the run. If I'm going like, 1 and 2, flip the order. I don't really either way.
Yeah, there's no way we should be thinking that the offensive line didn't have a great day, especially with how much I've hyped them up.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I've been really hyping them up.
It's not just you, man. It's everybody.
They played kind of pedestrian this last game. I know they're a lot better than that because I have such high expectations.
Yeah.
It's almost like when I saw that, it wasn't acceptable. It wasn't.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to throw them under the bus and say, all right, they didn't do enough. They did enough to win the game.
Yeah.
They did enough to win the game.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. So we'll come back. We'll continue the Eagles discussion. We'll hit a couple other things, a little odds and ends, Phillies, a major firing in college football.
We got to talk about some of those college games, man. Some of those college games were ridiculous.
Some great college football over the. I watched
Notre Dame. Where you at?
My goodness, that poor coach is going to get fired before
Appalachian
the season.
State does it again.
How about Georgia Southern? Georgia Southern, baby.
Well, that sealed Frosty's fate. So we'll dip into all of that when we get back. Don't go anywhere. We are Sports Take. Derek, Barrett, and Rob.
Philadelphia fans, were cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
The faces you know, the team you trust. The Delaware Valley's leading news program, Action News.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction. Go with trust.
Go Birds!
And go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia Dreams. Oh, and go Birds.
At Pondley Hockey, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pondley Hockey a call.
Final segment of Sports Take on this Monday. Barrett Brooks, Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn. All right, so we do have some Eagles news, and it's not good news. Adam Schefter reporting that Derek Barnett has torn his ACL and is done for the season. Anytime it's non-contact, I cringe, and that was the case. MRI revealed season-ending ACL tear in the game. That's a massive one, man. And just, I know people will say, look, this guy's been a bust, this and that. Just, you need depth, man. And you hate to see somebody like that go down.
You do, yes.
This quickly. And it's a shame. This guy was the 14th overall pick in 2017, and he just hasn't lived up to the billing. This is certainly not his fault. I'm not blaming him. It's just a shame the way it's kind of played out for him in his Eagles career.
No, that means somebody else is going to get a lot more reps.
Yep.
You hate to see it, because he's taking such a beating in this market for more of what he has not done compared to what he's capable of doing. But like every week, we're going to see this every week. And, we gave the Eagles a lot of props for coming out of the gate healthy compared to some teams who lost significant players, training camp, preseason games, so on and so forth. But this is what you have to do. You have to hold your breath every week.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this time and time again. Everybody's going to lose significant players. What do you do? I can see Howie trying to go out now and get another body, a veteran, to bring in here now. Teron Jackson, his time.
Yep.
It's his time to step up now to show what he's capable of doing. But you may have to add some more depth at that position as well. And like I said, there's so many veteran players sitting at home waiting for a phone call that you can now get at a bargain basement price because they just want to be relevant and get back in the game. Hopefully parlay that into something more significant at the end of this season. I hate to see that happen to Barnett, though.
Yeah, it's you're right. I mean, I think Taron Jackson would be the first candidate. Patrick Johnson is another guy you might look to here. They did make create some cap space. Howie did last week with some of the restructuring stuff that he did.
Right.
And with this kind of stuff in mind, you can't know what's happening, but you figure this is an NFL season. Someone's bound to go down. So it gives you a little bit of flexibility if that's the case. For one of the things we really were excited about with this defensive line was the ability to keep these guys fresh with the rotation.
Yep.
So this is a bit of a hit with the rotation, for sure. So yeah, Derek Barnett, if you're just jumping on, out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. All right, so we talked a lot about the game, and we'll certainly continue to do so throughout the course of the week, the course of the day, today as well. Just to jump around a little bit, we kind of said it jokingly, but it's true. The Phillies did win yesterday, and they swept out the Nationals. You wouldn't believe. How about this for the season, guys? They're 21-4 against the Nats and the Marlins.
Yeah.
They have dominated those two bad teams, so to their credit.
And rightfully so. And now they're getting ready to play another set against the Marlins, so that's huge.
Yeah,
absolutely. Padres have fallen off a little bit. Brewers are the Brewers. Pitching and hitting has betrayed them. That's why they're on the outside looking in. The schedule right now is so vital for the Phillies to win more than they lose, because after the series with the Marlins, they got to step it up. They have Toronto coming up.
Atlanta.
They got the Braves. Yeah, the
Braves. You got Toronto. And you close out the season
again.
Yeah, Barrett, exactly.
And you close out the season against Houston.
Yeah.
So.
It definitely steps up. There's 22 games left. They get 3 at Miami starting tomorrow.
Yep.
You get the Cubs at Chicago. Cubs are a bad team. You go to Washington for 4. But other than that, it's Atlanta twice, it's Toronto, and it's Houston. Yeah. So more good than bad. Like there's not, the cupcakes are starting to go bye-bye here. So you need to keep kind of building here. And to their credit, as things stand right now after that win, they're a game and a half up for the second wild card spot right now, which, it's kind of been back and forth a lot for them, but they're 78-62 on the season. And they're getting healthier. They got Sir Anthony Dominguez back yesterday.
Yep.
It looks like Zach Eflin's going to be real close, and Zach Wheeler's going to be real close. So they're going to be about as healthy as they've been, having Harper back maybe all season.
Harper finally hits a home run.
Finally. Yeah. And Rhys Hoskins came up big for them yesterday.
Yep.
The day before, Alec Boehm. I mean, they have had some guys step up, that's for sure. So that's kind of where things are from a Phillies perspective.
And then Schwarber finally hits a home run for the first time since August 29th.
He was cold, man.
Yeah.
He was cold. Yeah. All right. So college football, you guys mentioned it before we took a timeout. Some wild games. Notre Dame loses to Marshall. They're 0-2. I mean, the first game they lose Ohio State, you get it, but losing at home to Marshall, it's a bad loss. And they lose their quarterback for the year.
Yeah.
Buchner's done for the year with a shoulder separation. He's got to get surgery. So he's out. They have Cal this week, I think. Drew Pine will be their quarterback. So Notre Dame loses. Nebraska loses to Georgia Southern in Nebraska, which results in Scott Frost getting bounced. Okay.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this is, it's been a total train wreck for him there as their head coach after such a storied career as a player there. But what's really interesting with Frost is Nebraska had a 15. So if Nebraska waited till October 1st, the buyout for him would have been 7.5, but now the buyout for him is $15 million.
Yeah.
So they desperately wanted him out of there. So he's gone.
If I'm Scott Frost, I'm thinking, you know what? Thank you for firing me now instead of October 1st.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll enjoy that in my mansion. Thank you, Nebraska.
It's just amazing how he went. He was when he was a quarterback in Nebraska, he was a Pied Piper.
Yeah, he was a tough dude. So.
You know, but you give up 45 points. Now, you know, we all know that big time programs put so-called cupcakes on their schedule.
Yes.
They paid Georgia Southern $1.43 million to come play at Nebraska, thinking I'm not going to say thinking it's an automatic win, but we know how it works.
Oh, sure.
And you give up 45 points to Georgia Southern in your backyard. As alumni boosters, you can't stomach that. You can't stomach that, man. That's it.
Oh, man, you can't.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Bad luck, boy.
You got to go. You got to go.
Yeah.
No, not today. Yesterday. You got to go.
Well, so
I said not today. Yesterday.
Not today. Yesterday. You got to go.
He actually got fired Friday, and then they lost Saturday. It's weird how that happened. No. Alabama survives 20-19 over Texas. That was a really fun game. Barry, you were probably doing your game. You didn't get to see much of it, but it was an entertaining game.
Man, I was rooting for Texas so hard in that game. And when Texas took the lead, I said they finally got him. That quarterback from Alabama, man, that kid went down the field. Oh, my goodness, man.
Yeah.
That one run he took off to put him in field goal position. Yeah. I'm like, stop him. Stop him.
The guy had him dead to rights on a blitz, and he just kind of ducks, fends him off, and oh, man. Yeah, unbelievable.
Oh, my goodness.
So Appalachian State upsets number 6 Texas A&M, too.
Wow.
As if there wasn't an I mean,
App State always gets it. Like they got Michigan. Like
why would you schedule them?
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not scheduling those guys ever, man.
Yes.
Ever.
Yes. App State remember they beat Michigan 2 times in a row.
Yes.
In a row.
Yeah, he did.
It was pretty funny. And I don't know if you guys saw the video. So the kids are back on campus, right? And I didn't know what was going on. So there's somebody who had a camera and they're looking at like this main street, I guess, wherever they're in like Boone, North Carolina, I think is what it's called. So you have like, it almost looks like a marathon. It's all these people coming one way, all these people coming up, and I'm like, oh my God, what is this? And then they all just stopped and started partying together, like right on the main street after the win. It was so cool.
The college environment, man, is the best.
Awesome.
No question, man. Well, and Rob, I don't see how you got the college environment going to Temple, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, we had it for a minute with Matt Rule. Now we're digging our way out of the last guy. Give Stan Drayton some time. I like Stan Drayton. Give him some time.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Oh,
me too.
man.
It takes a little while.
I mean, he wasn't scared to pull the trigger, man. I was honestly surprised that he benched Mathis. Yeah. But Mathis had two fumbles that he lost. I mean, you can't. I can understand maybe overthrowing a guy, or a pick like that, but he fumbled twice.
Yeah.
Running into the line of script. Yeah. So
and no disrespect to Lafayette. It's a Division I AA team. I mean, come on.
Right. And they're ranked 4th in their conference.
It's a very good program, but it's a team Temple shouldn't struggle.
I mean, their defense is pretty good. They have some players on their defense, but man, as far as them being able to compete, it was way too close. Temple should have, ran them out of the gym, but they just their defense was good enough to stop them.
I know. Yeah, it was not good.
But you did see Kansas State, though, right?
Oh yes, your boys.
Who they beat?
Mizzou, baby.
SEC.
That's a great win.
Yeah, huge win.
Yeah.
They beat SEC team. Mizzou.
There were 2 other games that I watched bits and pieces of that were pretty good games. You had number 21. BYU upsets number 9 Baylor. Great game.
That was
a great game. Went to overtime.
I had Baylor a week and a half ago.
Did you?
Not Baylor, but BYU.
BYU. And then number 20 Kentucky finally beats Florida. Number 12 Florida.
I love Will Levis, the quarterback. Yes. Penn State transfer. There was another entertaining game I should have mentioned too, guys. Tennessee Pittsburgh was a very good game.
That was a good one also. Yeah,
that was
fun. A little bit of that. Yep.
Yeah, fun
to
watch.
That was a good game. Yeah, great college game. The whole weekend, college and pros, great.
Man. So I hope tonight's game. I don't have a good feeling about tonight. I know it's a big deal that Russell Wilson's going back to Seattle, but I just think Seattle stinks.
They do.
I think Seattle's going to be fired. I think it's going to be a good first half, and after that,
I think it's. I hope so.
He said a good first half.
Yes, I think it's going to be a good first half.
I think it's going to be a good first series for Seattle, where they're like
now,
haymakers, and then all of a sudden Denver's going to say we're much better.
I should not bring this up, but remember I put this game on one of my games that could have a wow factor to it last week.
Yeah,
You did.
And both of you looked at me, and the people in the chat room was like, D gonna put the pipe down.
Yeah,
all this stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
I was gonna remind you of that. Then I thought about it. No, I'm not doing that because they mess around and beat up on Denver, and I would not be able to. I couldn't go on the show tomorrow.
Well, if Seattle wins, I'm telling you right now, I'm moonwalking across the stage. I'm telling you right now. Right off the top. I'm telling you right now.
I'll tell you one. I made a cardinal mistake, a handicapping cardinal mistake. You guys know, like 2-3 weeks leading up, I said the Lions are going to keep this thing close. They're going to keep it close.
Yes.
Just you take the points, but the Eagles win. And then at the last second, because of the offensive line issues that the Lions were having, I switched and said the Eagles will cover. And shame on me. I dropped the ball, man. Big time.
I listened to you.
I know.
I was adamant that it was going to be a close game, and then I started hearing Barrett, don't get caught up in the Hard Knocks hype, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe Barrett's right. And then Rob said it on Friday. I don't know. And so I was thinking, you know what? That's confirmation that maybe I didn't see it the proper way. And as that game was unfolding, 31-14, 38-20, 21, I'm thinking, man, Rob and Barrett are right. And then all of a sudden, wait a minute, 38-28. 38-35. Oh, my goodness. We got a ball game here.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable on my part. I came up really small there on that one. All right. So this date, 1972. So 50 years ago on this date, Mike Schmidt makes his Major League Baseball debut. Schmidt was a September call-up for the Phillies, and the rest is history. But today was his very first game as a Philadelphia Philly in the major leagues, Mike Schmidt.
How old was he when he came
He
up?
played in college. So I want to say, Derek, he was maybe like 23, 22-ish.
Okay.
He played at Ohio University. He was a shortstop, believe it or not, in college and in the minor leagues. And then they converted him to third when he got up because he had such a cannon for an arm. But they moved him over there. So, all right. So a couple birthdays to throw our way. Jesse Owens, the great track star.
Yes.
An all-time GOAT athlete, period. Was born on this date in 1913. Of course, showed the world what he was made of in Germany in the Olympics when he took care of business. But a great track and field athlete, Jesse Owens. Yao Ming, 42 years old. Unfortunately, career cut short by injuries.
I can't believe he's 42 already.
I know.
First overall pick in the draft.
Yep. Yeah, it's a shame. I like Yao Ming. I wish his career could have lasted longer. Jennifer Hudson.
Wait. Before you move on.
Yeah.
Interesting stat I found out about Yao Ming. His dad was 6'7". His mom was 6'3". When he was born, he weighed 11 pounds.
Oh. His mom was 6'3"?
6'3".
Man, that's tall. All right.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's a big boy.
Oh,
11
wow.
pounds. Yeah, man. Mom needed some rest after that one. You know? I mean, seriously, what are we doing? Oh
man.
Poor lady. Anyway, Jennifer Hudson's 41 years old for this great singer, Jennifer Hudson.
Girls, yeah.
Barry White, the late great, was born on this day in 1944. Barry, give us a little Barry.
It wasn't quite clear to me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
It was good. Neil Peart, who was a phenomenal drummer who we lost last year from Rush.
Yeah.
One of the great drummers in the history of rock and roll, gone too soon. Andrew Luck, who popped up at the Stanford game. I don't know if you guys saw the Stanford USC game, but he was on hand there and looking dorky, a weird hat, but that's Andrew Luck doing his thing. He's only 33, man. I mean, retired. I think he was still 29 or whatever he was. Was that 4 years ago? Can't remember how long ago it was.
Right.
Joe Pantoliano of the Sopranos and a lot of other stuff is 71. Paul Walker, unfortunately passed away too young in a car accident, but from the Fast and Furious. He was born this day in 1973. Paul Walker.
His dad and his sister sued Porsche because of car malfunction, supposedly, and they both got settlements out of the deal.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. He was really good in that role.
He was.
For sure. So anyway, that's all I got birthdays. What do you got, Gunnar? Did I miss a couple?
Let's see here. Who did you miss? Louis C.K., the comedian.
Okay.
Rob, did you ever see the movie Pootie Tang?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Do you know he wrote and directed that movie?
No, I didn't.
Louis C.K. did?
From what the research shows, he wrote and directed that movie, and he was fired at the end of the movie when they re-edited the movie. Originally, they weren't happy with the way it was edited. That movie was trashed by Robert Ebert and all these guys. Saying,
Yeah.
And it's become a cult classic. Pootie Tang.
I didn't know that.
To this day, Barris still speaks Pootie Tang language.
What? Where did that come from?
Yeah, Derek, you're right.
I tell you.
He wrote it.
He wrote it and directed it.
Damn. Yeah.
Out of all people, Louis C.K.
I would have never guessed that. Okay.
Me neither, and I'm still not guessing that. I had to look it up.
I just looked it up too.
Rob,
He's right. No, you're right.
Yes.
No, you're right. Yeah. No.
He wrote The Secret Life of Pets also.
Wow.
I didn't see that.
Wow. The Secret Life of Pets.
Okay.
Pets 2. Secret Life of Pets 2.
God, that's 21 years old now.
Jeez. Emmy Rossum from the series Shameless.
Okay. Yep.
And the rapper 2 Chainz.
2 Chainz.
2 Chainz.
Yep. Who did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Nope. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. So, just to swing it back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, from an Eagle, the sort of reactions, the mixed reactions after one game. There's definitely, I think the one of the other problems that we have is, I think we tend to forget this was a 9-8 team, which is an okay team. They got in the playoffs. That has a lot of new faces. Believe me, I'm not making any kind of excuses. I'm just telling you, this might be part of the process of what we have to go through here early in the season. I think we thought because they made so many big moves with some big names that all of a sudden they were just going to come right out of the chute. And I think, it's a little bit of a learning process. I will tell you this. The heat is really cranked up on Gannon. He's the one where it's really, really hot. Like, I think there's, some people looking at Hurts and saying, oh, could he have thrown it a little bit better? Yeah, maybe. But I think for the most part, people are looking at Hurts
Played
and
a
saying,
good game. Yeah.
Running for his life.
Yeah.
And
he played a good game. Yeah.
But there should be heat on the offensive line. There should be heat on the defensive line. And there should be heat on Gannon. I think, and you know what? Nick Sirianni and the Eagles front office, if you want to take this approach where you're going to, rest these guys and hope to not get hurt and they don't come out and look fully ready, there's going to be that too.
But I can't blame Sirianni because he did the same thing last year and they went through the season healthy and they ended up getting in the playoffs. And when you consider most teams in the league now sit their starters, they don't even let their starters. Half of them don't even dress for a preseason game nowadays. I don't want to put that on Sirianni for basically doing what everybody else does.
Yep.
But it showed. The rush showed. And it took them a while to get going. Once they got going, they played efficiently on the offensive side of the football and got 31 points out of it, for the first game for a team that didn't get a lot of preseason reps.
Right.
And it'll get better and more efficient as it goes along. But I don't want to put this one on Sirianni just yet,
Yeah, I hear you. A couple other odds and ends around the league. So Kyle Fuller, cornerback for the Ravens, is done. Torn ACL. Another
Raven goes down.
They have had some really bad injury luck the last couple of years, and that's for sure.
Wrong. I mean, one of them guys ain't living right.
Yeah,
the head coach ain't living right.
Well, did you see the update on T.J. Watt?
No, what is that?
The doctor's still determining if he needs surgery. Obviously, the season's over. If it's deemed he does not need surgery, he could be back by week 6.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's a big swing.
I'm telling you, man.
5 weeks or the season. I don't know. It feels like I hope that's not the case with him, but usually it feels like these guys need the surgery or else it could happen again, At that position, man. That's tough.
Yeah,
that's
all the violence that comes with all that, and that's a lot, man. That's a lot. Just go ahead and get the surgery, man. Get it over with. Because it's never going to heal right. Most guys that do that, it never heals right, and it's like you lose half your muscle, strength out of half your muscle. So you don't want to do that, man. You just go ahead. Like my boy did that, man. Steve Everett. He had the same thing happen. He ripped it about half.
Cleveland and the Eagles,
yeah. So when he ripped it, he had half his pec. It was just half his pec, full pec, and then half his pec because they grew back. And he's like, well, they wanted me to play, so I played with it. After I let it heal just enough, and then I played with it.
Yeah. Steve took a beating during his years. He was a pretty beat up guy. I remember.
Yeah. Now he's down in Florida. In the Keys.
It's where he played. He played his college ball at the U, right? He was a U guy, I think. Or no, was he a Michigan guy?
No, he was a Michigan guy.
He was a Michigan, but he was from that area. He's from, I think, South Florida, but played in Michigan. Yeah.
So he's down in the Keys now. He has a restaurant down in the Keys.
Okay.
So it's always 5 o'clock down there.
Amen to that. All right, so we'll continue throughout the course of the week, digging into this game, starting to look forward to Minnesota. We'll go a little bit, further in depth with what the Vikings ended up doing on Sunday to the Packers. But, going in what this is going to be. It's going to be Justin Jefferson first and foremost, and then figure everything else out, once you get past that for sure. But it's going to be fun. But we'll continue to look back at this game and what the Eagles were able to do throughout the course of the week. Again, 38-35. You get the game tonight, which we'll look back on tomorrow as well. Russell Wilson goes back to Seattle as a Bronco. I think that line was like 7 or 8, somewhere in that neighborhood last time. I'm just going to pull it up right now real quick before we get out of here. It's down to 6.5. The betting line is going a little Seattle, Derek, for your game to keep an eye on.
Well, after what happened,
public's with you.
Yeah, but after what happened yesterday, you know what? I'm not surprised that lives went down. It was so much unpredictability yesterday. It was crazy.
Great point.
Crazy first day in the NFL.
Yeah, it was.
All right, great job out of everybody in the chat room. We appreciate you and your comments and your listening. Everybody listening, everybody streaming. Thank you very much. I want to thank Xander Krause for producing the program. Derek Barrett and I are back tomorrow. Don't go anywhere. You got 3 hours of the football talk continuing with the National Football Show with Dan Cilio. Everybody have a great Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time. We are Sports Take.
The greatest fans on earth. It's a bold statement, but would you expect anything less from Philadelphia? 58 years of heartache creates a toughness, a grit, a resolve not found in most. Sure, our prayers were answered, but now that we've had a taste, we're looking for more. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Do you stream on a Roku, Fire Stick, Android TV, or Apple TV? Now you can watch 6ABC 24/7 with the 6ABC Philadelphia streaming app.
The big story on Action News.
Search 6ABC Philadelphia and start streaming today.
Go passionately. Go fearlessly. Go confidently.
Go Birds!
Go confidently towards your goals with First Trust, Philly's hometown bank for nearly 90 years, and the official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles. We're focused on getting you over the goal line. So go with conviction, go with trust,
Go Birds!
and go forward with us by your side. First Trust Bank, the official bank of Philadelphia Dreams.